It's time to wake up, Woodward. The most listened to Detroit sports morning show is about to start. Start your day with a warm cup of Flannel Sam. Or how about a full cup of Detroit Kool-Aid?
Oh, yeah.
Mix in a little JB, and you got yourself the breakfast of champions. Live guests, fan reactions, and updates for your favorite teams. Wake Up Woodward is live now on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Tigers win, the Tigers win again. Shout out to the best Tigers beat reporter in the land. That is one Nick Koloff. Shout out to the heavyweights. I love seeing his videos after the Tigers win, bro. And it was dope to see them go and handle a little bit of business. It's Wake Up Woodward. We appreciate you, chat family, for choosing to kick off the day with Wake Up Woodward, with the WUW Crew. You guys are the most important part of this. Let's go ahead and get those likes ran up, man, because the city was electric yesterday. We were all over the place. We had people everywhere trying to cover it from every single angle, man. But it's your boy Brandon Dan, aka Detroit Kool-Aid, your credential Pistons reporter and writer for the network. Flannel Sam, the vet of the squad, the vet of the network, all sports knower, all sports lover. And, you know, I tried to take a page out of your book. Flannel, well, one day again he will wear flannels. And what about Kool-Aid in the Kool-Aid shirt? You know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out D-Mac, man. After my first year here, my 1 year, he got me this shirt.
That was D-Mac.
I feel like Stafford, like, it's my new shirt.
Hey, but doesn't it seem like the Tigers just win every series? I know that they've lost a few, but those
are just speed bumps.
They never go on these crazy winning streaks, but they also don't go on losing streaks. It's just, if you see, like what I saw before the week, you see 3 against the A's and then 3 against the Twins. I'm like, the Tigers are obviously going 4-2. We know that.
They're mad at us.
That's what happened.
What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Where are the victory shades? We got them. The crew was gracious enough. Obviously, we covered a couple things. We had boots on the ground at a couple different places last night, including the White Claw Tigers party. But we also were at Detroit Pistons present a night out with the orchestra, and it was dope. T Grizzly was in the building, Skilla Baby was in the building, and Big Sean performing with the orchestra behind his music. That was dope. He also bragged up the city last night. But, JB, let's run the people through that for a few minutes. Actually, wait. Tell the people what we got on the menu first, and then we'll show them this event, and then we're going to throw on those victory shades right after.
Did anything happen this weekend? Actually, a lot of things happened this weekend.
Detroit was in the news, huh?
The Red Wings made a move. The Pistons will probably not make a move because of something that we're going to talk about. We all know about it.
I see you, Marked Royal.
We're going to talk about the Tigers. One thing that we will not be able to get to today that we will try to get to tomorrow, we're not ducking the Michigan news. It's just too much happened over the weekend. Tomorrow should be a lighter day, so we'll get to that tomorrow. Today, though, Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers just all happen to be in the forefront of the news, so we got to talk about that.
Which was pretty crazy turn of events, all for different reasons. It's like where I am so fired up over here, I am so freaking disappointed in another corner. But before we get to there, shout out to the Detroit Pistons. They have a commitment to the city. And, yes, the commitment does include winning. So I'm glad to see that they are back to winning ways, and we hope that they can keep it up. But what they're doing in the city right now to provide a lot, to bring the cultures together, to highlight, and to be able to give platform, 100% I love it, man, especially like the events I've been able to cover. The DIA event every February, and they go and they do a scholarship giveaway for Black History Month. All of the creatives from the Detroit area public schools and some of the charter schools, they allow them to come, and whether it's their art is written art, paint, or a plethora of things, they allow them to be able to put their craft on display. And a lot of kids have they've given away millions of dollars just through that one initiative to Detroit's next generation. So this one was dope because it was them highlighting and celebrating our music right here in the city, man, at the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, bringing together 2 mediums. So, hey, you got a couple of those videos for me, JB? Woodward Sports, Kool-Aid, boots on the ground at the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. The Detroit Pistons present a night out with the Symphony Orchestra. It's going to be dope. Big Sean's here, T Grizzly's here, Skilla Baby, and many more. We're going to have a whole lot more for you guys throughout the night. You know what? Yo, look, the environment is already popping. Concerts already thumping. We're about to get in there and hit the floor. Let's watch.
There's always a Planet Fitness near you. Home
Let's go. Detroit for being so, the city and the Pistons for being so legendary. You know, to have such a terrible season and have people talk so much shit about us. And then to bounce back. And to make one of the most historical, the most historical comebacks. It's just a testament of like how the city is in general, the ups and downs we've gone through. You know, we the only city that's ever been bankrupt, and now we're one of the best places to live in the whole world.
There's always a Planet Fitness near you, home of the judgment-free zone. Planet Fitness, just $15 a month.
Hey, shout out to one Big Sean who was the recipient last night of the Legacy Culture Award, and that was presented by Kev Knowles, the Detroit Pistons and arena host, and the daughter of one Jay Dilla. So that was a pretty special moment. And right after that, they had a couple tributes to Jay Dilla, one by his brother Illa J, and he played the piano. And he put out a dope song, man, a dope performance. And then right after that, the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, without any artists, they performed 3 or 4 of Jay Dilla's, like, this bangers, man, and it was so epic. And if you're into Detroit music, I am so serious. This was one of those events that I was grateful to be a part of, and to be able to see the artists, the homage they gave, and how much love they continue to throw back at the city. The event sold out in 24 hours, and a lot of people had a good time. And shout out to Joik Bell, and shout out to Jalen Rose. You know, our brother Joik Bell from Woodward Sports a long time ago with Legion and Bell, man, they stepped out last night, and we had a blast. And my guy Eric Vincent from Clutch Points and Grace from Platinum Equity, she's a writer there, they stepped out last night too. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you and shout out to Pistons PR, man. They're doing a whole lot, and for them to be able to look out this way, it means a lot.
Hey, shout out. And the DSO is obviously an awesome place to pretty
Yeah,
much see a show of any kind. The fact that this was there last night was awesome. Glad you were able to be there. We're moving up in the world at Woodward Sports. But something else happened last night. And you know what? Because we're always late with breaks, all of our faults. I'm blaming me as well. Let's take a quick one now and then come back and give about 20 to 25 minutes to those Detroit Tigers
Hey,
who
Victory
just went.
Shades loading.
That's what. Hey, what up with the Detroit Gunny? We'll be back with the Victory Shades. But tell us about Mad Packs, JB.
Mad Packs. Chase here to talk to you about Mad Packs. Mad Packs is the hottest new cannabis brand, and they partner with us here at Woodward Sports. They've already launched their new products that was out on May 30th. They're at Select, getting you high for the low. Kool-Aid's favorite right here, that Boom Shakalaka. Boom Shakalaka is the new live resin infused tarantula, and that one is the bomb. You can't forget about the Blizzard Packs, THCA Moon Rocks that hit like a blizzard. Stay tuned with us here at Woodward Sports for more details.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
You know how some things are so good they should be world famous, but they're not? Our house-made vinaigrette is one of those things. And the antipasta salad, we drizzle it over. Same with our hand-battered chicken tenders. Original recipe soups and pasta sauces. It's almost as if our original, world-famous Detroit-style pizza is mocking them. And that's not very nice.
Les Stanford Buick and GMC has great offers for everyone. Get a 2025 Envision Preferred AWD for only $259 per month, or try out the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation for only $169 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV for only $699 per month. Get to Les Stanford today and check out their massive inventory. Les Stanford Buick and GMC, lesstanford.com.
Victory shades time. Shout out to those Detroit Tigers for not just winning another game, but winning another series over the weekend. They dropped the first one to the Twins, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to sit back because I do think this is another one of those just speed bumps. We know what the Tigers are. And then they whipped BTA out on the Twins in that second game. Shout out to Riley Greene, who, you know what, over the last couple games had as many home runs as the Twins had hits off of Skubal.
Oh man, what a weekend. And doesn't it just seem like, and a shout out because this was something that Mike Valeni mentioned from the flagship a couple of shows ago. The Tigers just win every effing series. They haven't had like a crazy long winning streak. I think their longest is 5, but they also don't struggle ever. They've had a couple of bad series. They've had a couple, I think, 3-game losing streaks, but that's nothing in terms of MLB baseball. And the Tigers just won another series, 2 out of 3, won another homestand, 4 out of 6. Awesome. Yep. But we all know, though, the real story of the weekend was the Tigers were on Sunday Night Baseball for the first time since 2017. And honestly, during this time between 2018 and 2023, why the F would they be on Sunday Night Baseball? It's great that they're relevant enough to get that showcase on national TV. And what I loved the most about this is that obviously they won. That's the best part. They got a shutout. Also awesome. The Stars showed out.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Cy Young winner Tarik Skubal from last year pitches in this game, probably the second most dominant game I've seen him pitch this season after the complete game against the Guardians. 7 innings, 1 hit, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk. I mean, 1 walk, 0 earned runs. Look at that. That's
incredible.
That's incredible. That's Cy Young type of ish right there. This is building upon your Cy Young season the year before and being even better this year.
And we talk about that aspect and that lure and that air, that environment of must-see JV. You know where that really started to take off? We knew JV was a bad man. But when the lights, cameras, and actions were on, when the Sunday Night Baseball was on, when the primetime games was on, JV was going out there and still being the man and finding a way to ramp it up just a little bit more, like we see our man Scoobs doing. That to me is where, when you talk about him going from everything that we know him to be, best pitcher in the game, AL, and now, yes, you need to make sure you got a camera on this man at all time. And when he starts, I don't care who he's even pitching against, you need to make sure that it's now must-see Skubal. That's just where we're at now.
It was an unbelievable performance. Like the Twins, who are a bad team. I mean, shout out him. Yes, absolutely. I mean, they're not a terrible team. They're like a mediocre team. They're a few games under 500. They're way back in the rear view in the AL Central, as every team is. But the Twins, I mean, they've got some dudes. We saw the type of player that Byron Buxton was in the first couple of games. We know the type of player that Carlos Correa is, et cetera, et cetera. But in this game, as Skubal has done many times throughout the past couple of years, he makes even great hitters look foolish, look childish, look amateur, look like they should be playing in AAA. And that's the sign of a dominant Cy Young, I don't want to say all-time great, but having an all-time great stretch pitcher. That's
He's even
what
had
they do.
to apologize to some of them, bro. Like that's the crazy thing. I'm not even, like, think about the fact that could be an over-exaggeration, but it's literally not. He caused the dugout to clear because of what's on the back of his jersey right there. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, this is electric right now, and it's not just that we have a good pitcher to talk about who can maybe get us over the hump. It's about the fact that we're talking about who Skubal is. I don't know how, but seemingly improving on a Cy Young year, while the team is also saying, "Oh, we here too, bro. We're all of us are at the top. Hello, we got more All-Stars. Hello, look at every standing: AL Central, AL, the league. Like I'm so happy that we get to come in this morning and put on these victory shades, because it's not just that they won another series, but it is right. We've been following this for a while. This team has taken adversity and they chew it up and spit it out. That's what they do. They handle it now. And I like the fact that losses, slumps, media, noise, Other teams going on streaks, other teams losing. This team just does what they do. That's the sign of not just a good team, but a team on a mission, and a team that I do believe, given where they are right now, that expectation, and Scott Harris said it himself, World Series, World Series, World Series. Shout out to Nick Koloff.
You know what? They don't. But the thing is, you mentioned slumps. Do the Tigers even go through slumps this year? Because
them as a team, like, no.
The thing is, in the last 10 games, they're 5-5, which is fine. But the best part is this year is that the Central is so bad. Every other team in the AL Central besides the Tigers is under 500. You know what? As Detroit fans, we are owed this because we know what we had to experience as Lions fans going into the last game as a 14-2 team, but the freaking Vikings were also 14-2. How about with the Tigers? They just continue to handle their business, win series, go 5-5, 6-4, 7-3 in 10-game stretches, and they'll probably coast to the division win because they are 11.5 up of the Guardians.
That's insane.
A team that we're all a little apprehensive about. The Guardians probably won't even make the playoffs.
Turn them
they're
into
going
sellers.
right now.
Turn them into sellers.
Turn them into sellers.
Bro, like, that is amazing. Not like a team or two. Like, everybody beneath you in the division. Like, the Tigers are really going to turn our entire division into sellers. Like, that to me is absolutely phenomenal. I'm wondering what the chat is feeling right now too, man, in terms of the hype. I can't wait because I'm seeing the one thing here, like mid-May, pay Skubal. Obviously everybody, like I can tell you, is phenomenal effort by Scoobs, but I do believe that the thing that's on a lot of people's minds is making sure that you lock up that man. I know it's going to be expensive, but you see exactly who he is in a game last night where, once again, it was Scoobs locking down an entire team, and it was effectively Carpenter and Greene show. We saw that recipe a lot last year.
Well, and I wanted to talk about, because Skubal was obviously the star of last night. He's one of the best overall players in baseball when you just combine pitchers and hitters. He's the best pitcher in baseball right now. But the other all-star from last season, Riley Greene, he hit himself a home run as well for his 19th of the year. And JB, if you have that Riley Greene graphic that I sent.
When did he hit his 18th?
He is 18th the day before.
Oh, what a man.
It's the one that says Riley Greene 2024, if you have that one. Good sir.
Yep.
Look at the improvements that he's making. Last season, in 137 games, he had 24 home runs. This season, he has 19 in 83 games. Last season, he had 73 RBIs in 137 games. This year, he has 63 in 83 games, and batting average last year was 262. This year is 296. Whether you like it or not, and most people do, by the way, I'm not trying to be snarky or anything. Riley Greene, in terms of power numbers, is putting up, we're about halfway through the year, Miggy-type power numbers. He's basically on pace for 37 home runs, 120 RBIs. If he maintains his average and his OPS, obviously the average and the OPS aren't quite what Miggy did, but in terms of Miggy-like power numbers, this has been the season Riley Greene is putting together. And this is one of the ways in which a lot of us, I remember KG specifically mentioned it when he was here, asking for a little bit more power from Riley Greene. He's delivered and then some so far this year. The dude's an MVP candidate. He just is. I'm not saying he's the MVP candidate or he's even top 3. Top 5, though, abso-freaking-lutely. And he showed out on Sunday Night Baseball as well.
Yeah. But I think that's becoming the identity of the Tigers. Their stars are stepping up. Their stars are being that's why I love about the fact that they have more than 2 guys that are going to be going to the All-Star game this year, even though before the season, maybe even some of us who were even slappies, did we really believe this team was going to have an argument? Not that they're going to get 6 All-Stars in, but did we believe that they would realistically even have an argument? I'm seeing even people now saying, look at Zach McKinstry and what he's doing. That's what I'm saying. This is something different. And there are names here that even if we were fans of what these players could be, did we really believe? Bro, I've been talking about Dylan Dinkler for a minute, and I didn't even expect that this guy was going to have this type of a season. Seriously. Even the people who believe in guys like Torque and Javi, did you really believe they were going to have that type of a season? That's what it just feels like. It's a little bit of that magic that you need in those special sports seasons that just boost you on. And it's not as if this team isn't helping themselves, because they are. Their motor, the way that they attack, and I forget who said it in the chat, but it kind of feels like this. When they said that they love the way that Skubal showboats when he's on the mound. And I love it. I think the more appropriate word would be aura. But, you know, what up to our elite booth, man. I want to get them in on the just the Tigers hype Scoobs. Riley Greene, because I like where you were going with that. I like where you're going. It's not just who he is as an all-star, but he's not the only one who's effectively stepping up his game. Yeah. We see Scoobs, and he's going to rightfully get everything, effectively the praise that he deserves. But when you lay it out like this for Riley Greene, you are right. He is one of those guys that, as we talked about Jared Goff being an MVP candidate, not that he would win, you're seeing Riley Greene step into a very, very special place.
Yeah, he has. And I also want to shout out Kerry Carpenter for last night as well. Somebody who we know has the penchant for coming through in big moments when the lights are the brightest. We all know the 3-run homer to win a playoff game off of Manuel Clase last year. One of the favorite Tigers sports moments for probably any of us who are a little bit younger. And then last night on Sunday Night Baseball, he's really picking up where he's left off in the last 4 games or so. In the last 5 games, including last night, Kerry Carpenter has 3 home runs. He's back in terms, like, he was in a really bad slump for a while, but he appears to be back. He had a homer to start the scoring. He had an RBI triple as well. Did leave the game afterwards. Hope he's okay. I think it's kind of just like managing the hamstring as best that they can, but Kerry Carpenter showed up as well. It was the Carpenter, Greene, and Skubal show.
And I got to go over to the voice of reason, and we'll go over to Cavassier as well. Shout out to the Detroit Tigers. Shout out to these stars. I like the way the flannel kind of just laid everything out there, because the Tigers are being boosted by solid play all over the place, but their stars are still being those dogs, man. How you feeling over there, one JB Smooth?
I mean, I'm feeling good. These all-star Tigers, as we should say, are going out there. They're doing their thing, man. Shout out to Skubal yesterday for pitching that amazing game. I mean, I wish I could have been down there to celebrate with the heavies at Old Detroit Bar, or was it Old Detroit Miami? We were at
Old Miami. Yeah.
Old Miami. Yeah, it looked like an amazing time. I wish I could have been there, because I know Spinny and Easy got after it as soon as the game was done. So it's a good feeling to be a Tigers fan in Detroit, to finally, like, we have a team that is built and ready to succeed in the playoff series as soon as it gets here.
Yeah, what up, though, Cavassier?
Yeah, it was a good time down there at Old Miami last night. I want to shout out Chaz from the chat, who drove all the way from Grand Rapids solely to come and hang out at Old Miami with the heavyweights at the White Claw Tigers Tour watch party. So
shout out.
Came all the way out, literally drove all the way out there just to hang out with the guys and stuff. Stayed until, I want to say, the 7th or 8th inning, because they had to drive all the way back across the state to Grand Rapids. But and I know he works first shift. He says he taps in from time to time when he gets his coffee break for tune in to Wake Up Woodward. But he watches Big D and he watches heavyweights as well. And so just shout out to Chaz. Appreciate you coming out, man. It was a fun time, and I know he got to talk to the heavies for a little bit last night too.
Shout out. That's what makes all of this awesome, man. Like, when we're able to put, face to name and be able to hang out with the people in the chat fam. I know we get that experience with you a couple times too. And Freddie Felt and Ryan's reaction, I see him in the chat. He says, Old Miami was a vibe, man. And these are people who have been supporting us for a while. Like, Freddie Felt was driving out when we were doing post games in the Hamlin pub, bro. You remember how long ago that was? Like, I was sitting, he was getting out there and helping us set up. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I just want to see y'all succeed, bro. I was like, nice to meet you. I didn't even know his name. We set the whole thing up, and I was like, bro, what is your name? He was like, I'm Freddie Felt 313. I was like, that's you? Yeah. And it was just like, this was an awesome feeling to see people who wanted to see us successful, and that's what makes this great. That, to me, is also, I think, what made Old Miami a vibe. And I'd be remiss if I did not shout out Brady Wood. Shout out to you, Brady. Shout out to you. There's a lot that he does, and not just for the sales work that he does here, but the setup, the lugging the equipment, the tearing it down, the relationships with our sponsors that he continues to procure, and caring about us. Shout out to you, Brady. And I've seen him do this for years now here. So shout out to you, man. I just wanted to make sure you got some love this morning.
Brady Wood is the effed man. He's better than me. He is more irreplaceable at this place than me. I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that, but that's
way to suck your own dick right there for a second, Sam. Like, no. I'm the shit, but Brady's better than me.
Brady is better than me, though. Brady is the man. He He sells things. He
I had to toot your own horn a little bit there too, though.
Yeah, it's like he has a job, but he does whatever else is needed to be done.
Yep, setups, teardowns, everything that you need to do. Wish I could have been there last night, but I had some business to take care of with the family. But also, you know what's funny? Last night obviously took center stage because it was Sunday night baseball.
Yeah.
But how about the day before?
Yes.
The Tigers had to win Game 2 in order to have a chance to win the series. And after a disappointing, rare Game 1 of a series loss, they rebounded with a rare and probably an even more rare Saturday win. Shout out to them, and shout out to Casey Mize for pitching yet another gem. He's had himself a heck of a year. Maybe has even a sneaky all-star case. I don't think he'll make it, but he's been damn good for them. And also, Gleyber Torres, Zach McKinstry, Riley Greene, and Kerry Carpenter, all with home runs. I was about to ask the question, but I don't think Carpenter has a realistic chance. Do we see Gleyber and Greene, which we definitely will, and McKinstry at the All-Star game?
This is the
I know,
crazy
fire
part.
up Chips. Chase would love that.
Yeah, we're talking about multiple people here, and it's not just those guys. There are other ones that we're gonna see have some type of a case to be considered, or to say, you know what, they're having an All-Star-like season. That's the crazy thing. I don't even know where you begin when you talk about who do you credit for this type of stuff. But looking at Saturday's game, it's awesome to see how they won this series. Yeah. They're showing you that the Tigers, they can win it pretty, they can win it gritty. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that was what I loved about the bookends of both days. And in each of those games, you still saw the Stars do what they do. So on Saturday's win, you had a whole lot more help. On Sunday's win, you had your stars. You had Carpenter, Greene, Carpenter. You look at the day before, and you're going to see a bunch of people contributing. But I love the fact that we see Greene go out there and still mash and still be the biggest bat in that lineup. Yeah. And then you're effectively with a guy like Casey Mize, who I'm hoping continues to get more and more comfortable, more and more understanding that he is that dude, and get beyond any aspects of like the little injuries and things like that. This Tigers team is set up for so much more, because they have it under control, not just the starting pitching, not just the batting, not just the bullpen, but A.J. Hinch is pulling every string masterfully right now. That's I like, and that's why I'm kind of like at a loss for words, because I'm trying to figure out who gets the most credit. What is it that's making this team this special right now? Like, that's the amazing part about this.
Everybody gets credit. I mean, this is a complete team. Tarik Skubal obviously gets a huge piece of the pie because he's following up a Cy Young season with an even better season. Riley Greene has evolved from being an all-star to, in my opinion, a legit MVP candidate. You talk about Zach McKinstry, Javi Baez, Spencer Torkelson, way overshooting the expectations. You can give credit to Scott Harris for the Tommy Kahnle and Gleyber Torres signings, who I think both deserve to be all-stars. Obviously, A.J. Hinch deserves a lot of the credit for the way he mixes and matches the lineups and really doesn't usually let Carpenter or Colt Keith, for example, or Jahmai Jones hit against lefties or righties, respectively, plays the matchup game. There's more credit than you can even give, because this really is a complete team. And I think, and we talked about it before, because I think Zach McKinstry deserves a little bit of a glazing by himself. Zach McKinstry, man, might have a sneaky all-star case. I don't think he's going to get it, but just to give you a little bit of context, Zach McKinstry, in terms of position players, is second on the Tigers in wins above replacement. It's Riley Greene and then Zach McKinstry. Zach McKinstry is second in the American League in triples, while also having an 807 OPS. Dude, if Zach McKinstry makes the All-Star game, that would be the most...
I'd get a Zach McKinstry All-Star jersey.
There we go. That would be perfect, because,
it's just a Tigers jersey at that point, isn't it? They're just wearing the home jerseys.
I mean, but... Sure, but yeah, a Zach McKinstry jersey is enough, because obviously Chase and Zach McKinstry share an CMU alma matership, but there's so much credit that can be going around, because the most important thing to me is that Tarik Skubal managed to level up even more, and Riley Greene managed to level up a ton, but so many guys are stepping up and playing roles. Hell, even in small sample sizes. Look at Wensiel Perez since he's been back. Look at what Jahmai Jones has done in this month, really being the lefty killer that was expected of Andy Ibanez, but he didn't really deliver. Oh, don't worry. We got some guy that nobody's ever heard of in the minors who's going to come up and have an 1,000 OPS in the month of June. They just play the game the right way, man. I love it.
Hey, they absolutely do. And I love the fact that it matters to them, man. I'm looking at some of the quotes from Zach McKinstry as well. And, obviously came very, very close to upsetting some big names. And I think that if those names were a little less of household names, we might be looking at all-star Zach McKinstry. But he says, all the people that voted for me, I just wanted to say thanks. My wife was really trying to push it. A lot of friends were too. My agency did a great job pushing it out there. It was super cool to see all the fans show up and rally around me to try and get there. What I love about that, he gave credit to everybody else, except for the fact that when we look at his numbers, we're like, well, no, dog. You deserve the credit, Zach McKinstry. But he's sitting here talking about from his family to his business people to the fans to the organization, getting behind him and pushing him to a place that was a shock to a lot of people. There were a lot of people who woke up and realized, like, whoa, he almost upset Bregman. And so it's pretty cool to see. I know he still has somewhat of a path to get there, and hopefully, this mojo that we see that's been following the Tigers around this whole season, hopefully that gives us a little bit more, sprinkle a little bit more of that dust on and see if the Tigers can get one more or two more All-Stars in there.
Yep, and Zach McKinstry also, for what it's worth, the Tigers aren't a team that steals a lot of bases, but Zach McKinstry does lead the team in steals with 10 by a wide margin. They really don't do a lot of running, but what they do is they run the bases really well. It seems like they take the first to third on a single at a high clip. They go second to home. They're just a team that does all of the fundamentals the right way, and that's one of the reasons why they're just they're a machine. That's what they are. They're basically they're hammerers. Like I said, they don't go on those super long winning streaks, but they win every freaking series.
Here's Dad with Tourette. So he does give more credit to somebody. So he says Hinch deserves 99.9% of the credit.
Well, that's just
he is 100% of the engine moving this train.
There's no manager who's ever existed in the history of baseball that deserves 99.9% of the credit. Come on.
I see. Yeah.
Again, I love AJ Hinch, but the way that people act like this would be a 20 games under 500 team if Hinch wasn't the manager drives me insane. He's a great manager, but come on.
But shout out to David Torres, man. He's been active in the chat this morning.
99.9%. That's absurd. Listen to what you have to say. Does he having a Cy Young pitcher that he can throw out there every 5 days, does that help? Or is it still 99%? Does having a guy like Riley Greene you can put out there every single day and have him have an MVP caliber season, is that AJ Hinch's motivation or something? Give him the amount of credit that he deserves, which is a ton, but 99.9, and there's people that'll agree with this. Come on!
It's because AJ Hinch filled Jackson Riley Greene. That's why he's doing this now.
I'm sure it is. According to some.
He's the Chuck Daly, man. Come on. Rest in peace.
Chuck Daly didn't deserve 99.9% of the credit. Phil... No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Don't disrespect the
I know.
RIP to the
I know that talentless team with like Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars.
You don't know. Now you fucking up. All right, you're fucking up. You disrespect the legacy of Chuck Daly. He's a fucking genius. Flannel, come on, Sammy.
I'm disrespecting Chuck Daly by saying he doesn't deserve 99.9% of the credit.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
That's insane.
He controlled the Bad Boys, 2 championships. Give him his goddamn credit, Sam.
I'm giving him credit.
Well, give him credit then. Give him credit then.
Oh my god.
I love it. Oh, breathe, fine. Breathe.
I'm dead.
Yo, I'm dead. You guys
Nash,
just to
no,
crack
it would
it
not
up,
be
bro.
okay if you guys said Riley Greene deserves 99.9% of the credit. I know baseball. You guys don't.
Oh, shit.
Yo, y'all even got Justin cracking up over here.
Oh, Justin.
Justin is on the line, by the way. He's over here dying.
Look, let's take a quick one. Let's let Justin talk about Tigers just a little bit, and then we'll get into the rap. Look at Flannel. Breathe. Somebody get this man a brown paper bag. Who really hung it out, man?
Oh my god.
I love this stuff, dog. Oh, I love this stuff. Bro, we ain't even got to the Beasley segment yet.
Crash out at 8:35, everybody. Yeah.
We still gotta get, I'm so disappointed. I'll hold my judgment. I will hold it. It's just an investigation.
Crash out at 8:35.
Who we gotta say what up though to? What up to little bro Justin too?
Merch over to me for merch and then Planet Fitness. Oh my god. Yo, head over to woodwardsports.com, click on that shop tab. We are dropping new designs for you every single week. I think we might need to work on a crash out flannel shirt coming pretty soon here. But you gotta go and get those Woodward Tigers t-shirts, sweatshirts that we got right now. You should be rocking down at Comerica Park. You could have rocked one yesterday for Skubal's amazing game. And you can't forget about those LFG Red Wings t-shirts, hoodies available for you right now. Shout out to all the new draft prospects that came through our way for the Red Wings. Once again, head over to woodwardsports.com. All you gotta do is click on that shop tab, and you can also wear this merch at Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. Get your fitness on this summer at Planet Fitness. The high school summer pass program allows teenagers 14 to 19 years old to work out for free all summer long. This allows teens to prioritize their mental and physical health while school activities like sports and gym class are in recess. Since launching this program, Planet Fitness has invested more than $300 million in waived memberships dues to promote youth health and wellness. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Are you a real Detroit sports fan? Woodward Sports is here to give you all the Detroit sports you can handle. Weekdays, make sure you're locked in on Wake Up Woodward from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Followed by Big D Energy with Neil Rule and Darren McCarty from 11 a.m. to 1. Up next, you can't miss Ermanni and Edwards with Maz from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And finish the day out with the bad boys of Detroit sports media, the Woodward Heavyweights, from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, wait, that isn't enough for you, you sports freak? Check out Woodward Wings, Woodward Ringside, and the Lions Weekly Update every Sunday with Broder, Terry Foster, and Sean Baligian. Subscribe on YouTube for all our great content, and make sure you're following on all social media: X, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. You want sports? We got you covered. Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
Looking to upgrade your relaxation game? Check out the Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. It is the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest. They have top brands of massage chairs loaded up in there, like the Infinity and the Osaki. Located near the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road, experience luxury comfort with the wellness doctor, Dr. Eric Duncan, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Go ahead and book a visit at www.massagechairhouse.com. There's a QR code you can scan above my head. Massage Chair House, your ticket to ultimate recovery and relaxation.
I was just reading the chat. What up, though, people? Welcome back.
Crash out.
It's your boy Detroit Kool-Aid.
That's a little bit of like a pot in the kettle.
Better than the squad. Better than
That's a little bit of the pot in the kettle.
Look, Xavier D, he agrees with you. 99% is crazy. 95.5 is right on the mark.
It's not right on the mark. Players got to play. As I asked this in the chat, if AJ Hinch deserves 99.999% of the credit, then why were they a losing team for the majority of his tenure? Because he was managing.
That was the front office's fault.
Because he was. But if a manager can do that, he should be able to win with anybody.
That was
No,
Owner's
because
fault,
your
too.
talent got better, they developed. Does Dan Campbell get 99.999% credit of the Lions' success? Does JB Bickerstaff get 99.999% of the Pistons' success? You would never say that. But for some reason, the
it's
narrative
95.5.
but for some reason, I still think a lot of you people in the chat act like this is a team full of like little engines that could. This is a great team with a lot of talent.
We see that now, but before the season, we did think it was a lot of little engines that could, and in the big two.
I said 88 and 74, even with the injuries.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that we would see some guys step into some stardom, but as a general consensus, I think that a lot of people did think that this was similar to last year's squad. There was a lot of talk about what the injuries were or weren't. I do believe there were a lot of people who thought this was a team that was like full of little engines that could. But now we see these guys are actually turning into all-star level players. And I do believe that Hinch gets 95.5%.
I give him some credit, but my goodness, dude. Like, these people.
Shad's yelling at you. It's all caps. I gotta
Shad's
read
an
it.
idiot.
Who developed them, Samuel?
Well, Shad's an idiot. Shad doesn't know anything.
You put your full government.
Would Tarik Skubal be a bum if AJ Hinch wasn't his manager? Would Riley Greene be a bum?
I mean, he got better under Hinch.
Oh, my
Let me
goodness.
stop.
Guys, let's just make AJ Hinch not just manager of the year and best manager of all time. Let's make him king of the universe.
DNC ENT believes that Brad Holmes gets 99.999% of the credit of the person that he was brought in after.
I mean, if
Shout
we
out
win
Dan
the World
Campbell.
Series this year, that'll be twice in the last 10 years. AJ Hinch has taken the worst team in baseball and coached them up to becoming the best team in
He's
baseball.
a great manager, but both of those teams had talent that developed under him. Carlos Correa.
I mean,
Jose
a lot of
Altuve-
baseball teams have talent. You have to be able to manage the
I
talent.
understand that.
We've been seeing
I
Torque turn
understand.
into, I mean, and I get what you're saying in terms of
Yes.
99.9, but the more that we do talk about it, it's like, yo, this guy has done some pretty amazing things. If he bookends a World Series, I definitely believe that he deserves to have his career under a more positive microscope than the asterisk or negative microscope that has been under. But now that you see what he's doing in Detroit, the ultimate, if you really think you're a winner, go do it in Detroit. We've heard people say that mockingly about people like KD and LeBron and the super team era, and we've also heard it about coaches. AJ Hinch is the one that's actually done it and come here, and it's not just the winning, it's not just what we're doing in the division, but it's even with some of these players. I expected not a lot of the Spencer Torkelson at all, and I don't understand what they solved out with some of these players that for years the organization couldn't figure out, but I do definitely tip the cap there into his vision. Obviously, I don't know how much credit he gets. I think it's a no-brainer. If Chris Fetter is in your backyard and wants to come here, you go ahead and you get your Chris Fetter. Some of the hitting coaches and such, but I do believe that also lends to the pedigree that he is, similar to Sharon Moore. You see what he's doing as a program builder over there. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Charlatan.
But what's funny
Go,
is, Justin, I promise 1 second. Sam Flannel, Combat Legs Fits. Have you heard of the historic .01 chance for the Tigers last year? But does AJ Hinch get penalized for them starting so bad, for them being a losing team the year before, a losing team the year before, a losing team the year before? Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the talent on the field. And I'm not saying that AJ Hinch isn't the best manager in baseball. If you were to ask me who I'd rank number one, I have no problem ranking AJ Hinch as the best manager in baseball. I don't hate Hinch at all. I just think there's a fundamental misunderstanding with a lot of people on what a manager actually does and doesn't do. Players have to play. They have to play. Just like with the Lions, everybody glazes all of their players, as they should. With the Pistons, everybody glazed Cade Cunningham and glazed Asar and, well, as much as you could. Glazed like Malik Beasley and whatnot, although maybe not so much anymore.
I don't think that's happening.
Players have to, right, players have to play.
They do have to play, but you look at the Pistons right now, similar talent, but you look at a JB Bickerstaff, you look at a Trajan Langdon, I don't want to say TJ Langdon, Trajan Langdon, and you look at exactly what these guys have been able to do. It's where if you had any doubts or questions or wonderings about the aspects of a culture or an atmosphere or an aura that a person could bring to a situation in addition to the X's and O's, we've seen a lot of these coaches in front office personnel have success in the NBA. But for some reason, JB Bickerstaff and Trajan Langdon were the ones who were able to come here and absolutely not just right the ship, but get more out of this thing than we thought was there previously. There's some people who did not believe Cade Cunningham would reach the levels that he did. There's some people who did not believe the Pistons would have the historic rise that they did last season. but they did under this coach and GM or president of basketball operations. Let me not disrespect Mr. Lane in that way. So honestly, the real thing is, again, this is beginning to be first world, whatever that, like you said, because we haven't won Super Bowls or championships yet with these people. But whatever is in between first world and second world and closer to first world problems, that's where we are right now. When we can sit here and wonder who is responsible, what is the secret to the sauce, how was the pie split amongst all of these good teams with expectations to improve on already good seasons. I absolutely love where we are with Detroit sports.
100%.
Get there, Red Wings.
Get there, Red Wings. Hey, speaking of which, that is a great transition. We've got Justin Satawa on.
Sorry for making you wait, bro.
Sorry for making you wait. That's mostly my fault, but a lot of your guys' fault as well. And I think this is something that we can hopefully all kumbaya on, because if you guys didn't hear this weekend, the Detroit Red Wings they made a move. They traded Petr Mrazek, a 2026 fourth-round pick, and a 2027 second-round pick.
Justin trying not to cheese.
You can smile, bro. Look at him.
For now former and longtime Anaheim Ducks goaltender John Gibson. So, Justin, I'll just give you the floor. How do you feel about the trade? Do you think the Red Wings got better?
I love the trade. I think they got better. I think they got better by a significant margin. I personally believe that John Gibson has been wasting his career at Anaheim for the last couple of years, and he has been unhappy for the last couple of years, and he is one of those goalies that has needed a change of scenery. You saw last year, even in his limited time after he lost the starting job, that he was able to bounce back and still get that 9-point save percentage, which everyone fawns over. That's something I believe that he'll be able to replicate in Detroit. I understand there are concerns about the 2 seasons prior with .88s and .89 save percentages, but at the end of the day, the goalies are weird. They have some of the weirdest tendencies and some of the weirdest consistency levels of any player. Like you saw last year, Tristan Jarry got sent to the minors, then came back and had a 9-1 save percentage and a winning record for the rest of the year. It's just such a weird position to play. So if we do make those upgrades like Steve Yzerman is saying to the defense and to the forwards, this should be a goalie that he would have been the best goalie if we would have kept Mrazek by a further margin. And Neil told me in the Hockey Elite group chat, he's like, well, aren't they the same guy but just different contracts? No, they're not. When you're looking at a guy that in John Gibson who has had multiple seasons of 9-2 save percentages on long clips of games, and Petr Mrazek has only had a 9-1 or a 9-2 save percentage with limited sample sizes. I've seen the consistency from John Gibson before, and now that you're putting him in a position where he's going to be competing for a playoff spot, I think you're going to get some of the best John Gibson that you can possibly get. And with that being said, the career save percentages are not that big of a difference. A 9-1 to a 9-0-6 isn't a very big difference in save percentage, but when you're looking at it over a season, that is a difference in 6 to 8 goals. And when you're looking in tight games, and the Red Wings' issue is losing tight games, those are games that might flip the pendulum to the other side. So in an Eastern Conference that has gotten better, you got better as well. And at the same time, you didn't give up a single premium asset in this trade. You didn't give up a first-rounder. You didn't give up one of your prospects. You gave up Mrazek. To me, this is a low-risk, high-reward trade that you will see the benefits of this year.
Yeah, no, I am 100% on board. And just for some more context on John Gibson, for those of you who weren't paying too much attention to Anaheim Ducks hockey over the years, which why would you? When the Ducks were a consistent playoff team, John Gibson, as you said, Justin, was putting up 9-10 save percentage, 9-20 save percentages, like at least that for about 5 consecutive years. He looked like he was going to maybe be a future Hall of Fame level goaltender. But when the Ducks organization tore it down and have been in a rebuild that's been almost as long as the Red Wings, John Gibson's numbers, they suffered. But last year, and I have some power stats that I actually got courtesy of Jim Costa from the Flagship. Shout out to him.
These are great stats.
Yes, and this was from last year, a year where he was a little banged up and he was relegated to being the backup. He played 29 games and 28 starts. He was 6th in goals saved above expected, 6th in save percentage above expected. He was 13th in wins above replacement. He was 5th in high danger saves above expected, which I know the Red Wings have to do more, but I think it's tough to say because he was a little banged up. The Red Wings might have been a playoff team with John Gibson last year, even part of their rotation. They didn't miss it by much. Is that a crazy statement?
I don't think that's crazy. I think that they probably would have ended up on the outside looking in at the end of the day, but I do think this would have gotten you closer. And when you're looking at just keeping this arms race going in the Eastern Conference, as you see, Montreal continues. Sorry, that was my dog. Montreal continues to get better. The Islanders continue to get better. The Bruins continue to get better. The Devils are going to get Jack Hughes back. These are all teams that are going to be better next year, and you have to continue to improve, and this is where you do that. There's no doubt that he would have been the best goalie on the Wings last year. Glenn, I don't think it's that far out to say that they would have made the playoffs last year with him because they were only a few points out, and like I said, those 6 to 7 goals really could have made a big difference at some point throughout the season. And that was Mrazek's career save percentage. Last year, Mrazek's save percentage was in the 8s. So at the end of the day, you are going from a guy who was in the 8s to the 9s, and that is a huge difference. So I don't think that's too far-fetched to say. I could possibly even sell you on the fact that this is the most substantial move anyone in the Eastern Conference has made this far in the offseason.
And I actually wanted to ask you about Carter Bear, but before we get there, is there anything that you want to see the Detroit Red Wings do specifically in front of Gibson on the defense?
Yes. There are 2 names that I have been attracted to all offseason. And
I feel like that would get you a few more of those goals saved based on what you're putting out in front of them.
100%. You're 100% right, Kool-Aid. And Steve Yzerman has come out. He is mostly attuned to the trade market right now because there's a lot of RFAs out there that fit his timeline and are cheap. Because you're seeing with the Gibson trade, he didn't want to give up premium assets to create another hole in the roster. He wanted to bring in a guy who would fill that hole without taking away from the defense or the offense of the future, which was a great move by him that he got John Gibson for pennies. Now he's going to turn to, I believe, Keandre Miller, left-handed defenseman out of the New York Rangers, who is 25 years old, is in need of a restricted free agent contract. He's an offensive defenseman who plays a free-flow style that will perfectly complement Mo Seider, and I think that he will be able to get him for a second and a third-round pick of the future and not have to leverage any of his prospects that he feels so fondly over. So I think that that's a move he's looking at. And then the free agent market, he said it is thin in the free agent market, but I do truly believe he's going to look at Aaron Ekblad. I think that those rumors have a lot of validity to it. Ekblad grew up just across the border in Ontario, and I think that that is the type of guy he's looking to bring in, a veteran who has won championships, who can teach Mo Seider and Edmondson how to be that physical defenseman that they're trying to build their core out of.
Yeah, and you know what? To talk about Carter Bear, the forward taken by Steve Yzerman, and there's been, I would say, many different reactions so far, but I've seen a lot of people be able to kind of come to a meeting point of believing that this kid is going to be really good for the Detroit Red Wings one day, whether it's sooner rather than later or maybe a little bit later. But if you can, tell me about Carter Bear and what we can expect out of him, the type of player he is.
Well, you can expect a few things out of Carter Bear. The first thing is he's a high motor player. He's always moving his feet. He's always being physical, and he's very, very smart in terms of his hockey IQ. He also has a wicked shot. He put up 40 goals in little around 40 games. He would have been a top 10 pick if he didn't tear his Achilles. This is a very similar, and not exactly in the player, because I think Jameson Williams would have went in the top 5 if he didn't tear his ACL, but it's very similar in the regard where he fell because of his Achilles tear. Like, he would have been a top 10 pick. He would have been a higher rated prospect, but because of his Achilles tear, he dropped out of the top 10. So this is a very big swing by Steve Yzerman, looking for a top 6 scorer. Well, if Carter Bear can guarantee the fact that he's a top 6 player in the NHL, this is an absolute win by Steve Yzerman in this draft. And he has that potential. He's a little bit bigger than Alex DeBrincat, but plays very similar to Alex DeBrincat. So I think that this is a very good pick. This is a low floor, high ceiling pick, so you don't know how well it's going to pan out, but he has all the intangibles of an NHL player already, other than the fact he needs to get his weight up a little bit. So I think in a year or two in Grand Rapids, and you could be seeing a possibility of him starting to break into that roster, and only time will tell. I want to see him in the NHL, I want to see him in the AHL, and see him against professional hockey players, because it is hard. The is not the most competitive junior league in Canada. It is a tier 1 league, but it is not as good as the OHL. So it's hard to really rate prospects in that league on a fair plane. But at the same time, he jumps off the tape. He's a great skater. He's got a great shot. He's got a great one-timer. And he's going to bring a lot of skill to this Red Wings team whenever he gets there.
So, Justin, we've talked about the John Gibson move, and we're both pretty kumbaya on that. What do the Red Wings need to do? We talked about it a little bit with Keandre Miller, but even beyond that, in order for the Red Wings offseason to be a success, what do the Red Wings need to do the rest of the offseason at minimum? I'm not talking, obviously, Marner, stuff like that. I'll even take that out of there. What would be the minimum acceptable Red Wings offseason to you, Gibson included?
I think, and I asked for 2 of the 3 when it came to goalie, top 6 forward, and top 4 forward. But now seeing how the options are kind of shaking out, I'm kind of going 3 for 3. I need to see a goalie, and then I need to see a top 6 forward and a top 4 D. I need to see all 3. And if I don't see the top 6 forward, I need to see 2 top 4 D. Because at the end of the day, you really have a chance to solidify your D-core for the next 5 years this offseason if you were to bring in Ekblad and Keandre Miller, where your only opening really is for ASP. And that's the life I want to live. I don't want to have to be relying on prospects for as we're kind of getting into this window. To me, we are this offseason and then another serious offseason from competing to win a playoff series. I'm not talking about getting to the playoffs. I'm talking about winning a playoff series against a very good team. So that's where I really want to see them go 3 for 3 because the way that the cap is going up exponentially, it really is so intriguing the way that you're going to be able to add every single free agency while keeping your RFAs, and you're going to be able to have this window where the contracts are going to be expiring on guys who you don't want to be here, and then you're going to be able to re-up the guys like Raymond and Larkin at that point, 2 bigger contracts that fit their cap, and you're going to get rid of those expiring contracts at the same time. You're really hitting a perfect contract window, and you can really start to see what Steve Yzerman has been setting up for years with the contracts, with the prospects, and how the RFAs and the UFAs all combine with each other to make this perfect mix moving forward, where he's going to have the flexibility to add whoever he wants to this team when they are ready to.
Yeah, and just one more from me. One of the things that I know I heard from the puck knowers here is you want to see more toughness and more grit out of this squad. Do you believe that's something that they are going to solve this offseason? Even if it's marginal, is that something you believe, you know what, I can see it now?
I think there's going to be a step forward in the right direction, especially with a full offseason of Todd McClellan taking out who they add and who they don't add. I know that he will instill that no matter what, and I do expect improvement. But at the end of the day, I do expect them to add guys that do help them get to the identity of more of a physical hockey team. Like the names that they're linked to are all big physical defensemen and physical forwards. So I expect there to be a move back towards the mean of becoming more of a physical team because of the fact that that is the players that Steve Yzerman seems to be looking at. The fact that they weren't more in on Noah Dobson kind of shows me that fact as well, because they are looking at more of the physical side of the defenseman, because Dobson and Keandre Miller are extremely similar players, but Keandre Miller is more of a physical presence out there than Noah Dobson. So I'm curious how he navigates the trade market for the rest of the offseason, because I think that like you said, there's more opportunities there to get players at a better value than there are in free agency, because you also don't have to sign them to long-term deals. There's a lot of short-term options out there in the trade market compared to long-term options in the free agency.
Hey, Justin, absolutely crushing it here. A shout-out to Woodward Wings. That is that dude, Justin. Spin on Rack, Spinny of the Heavyweights, and my guy, Flannel Sam. You guys have been crushing us. So the latest episode as well did very, very good. And you held it down for the NHL draft. So continue to stay tapped in with all of the side content. But shout out to Woodward Wings and that dude Justin for tapping in this morning. Go Blue, my brother.
Thank you. Go Blue. Go Western. I appreciate you guys giving me the platform, and make sure that you tap in the next 2 days. Me, Flannel, and Spencer have some free agency frenzy pop-up pods that we're going to have throughout the next 2 days because of how crazy free agency will hopefully be. So let's go Red Wings. Steve Yzerman, continue to add to this core. We are so close, and thanks, guys, and have a great rest of your show. And Flannel, don't crash out on me again. You don't need to. These guys are pushing your buttons. I was on your side. If I was there, I would have had your back.
Well, it's because you have a functional brain and you understand baseball.
Man.
But that's
I
Hey,
love
you know
guys.
what?
Have a good rest of your show.
Is it Papa Satawa? Is there something special going on?
Yeah, it was my dad's birthday yesterday, so
Yeah,
happy birthday to my dad. He
birthday.
deserves it. He had a great day, so happy birthday, Papa Satala.
I want to make sure you got a shout out.
Hey, I appreciate it, cool. And shout out to you guys. Have a great rest of your show. Thanks for having me on.
All right, brother. Blessings, man.
See you, Justin.
Let's get to. All right, well, hey, that was cool. Now we have to get to more depressing things. Oh, my gosh. We got to talk the Detroit Pistons. We got to talk what all this means. Malik Beasley being investigated by the U.S. District Attorney's Office on allegations of gambling related to NBA games and prop bets. Whew.
I know what this means.
what does this mean, JV? Or do you want to hold it till after the break?
Yeah, we can hold it.
I mean, we can hold it, but I'm pretty sure everyone is all in lockstep. He ain't coming back. He ain't coming back. Let's just know that he's not coming back.
But I think something else people know or should know is where to get lunch. That's Buddy's Pizza. They've been serving original Detroit-style pizza since 1946. 79 years later, they have 22 locations in the great state of Pure, Michigan, and fans can still visit where it all began on the corner of 6 Mile and Conant. I hear their pizza is the perfect pick-me-up when you're feeling down about Malik Beasley trashing his offseason. So head on over to Buddy's Pizza if you're feeling that way. Sign up for Buddy's Rewards to earn points on every purchase and receive exclusive promotions. Download the Buddy's Pizza mobile app and start earning today. Add some Detroit style to your next meal. Save 10% off your entire order using the promo code 10MIL. That's the number 10MEAL. Buddy'sPizza.com. And I'm going to tell the people about a little bit of Dr. Pierce, man. So attention, sports fans, all you beautiful people out there. Don't miss out on expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join Dr. Pierce every Tuesday on Big D Energy, I'll be tomorrow, and every Thursday on Ermanni and Edwards, where he's offering top-notch injury advice. And we're getting that much closer to Detroit Lions football. So you want to stay tapped in because he's giving you all the breakdowns on the latest news, injury, rehab-wise, with the Detroit Lions players. And he's also the injury doctor for the Big Three. So shout out to him, the team doctor. Trust the guy that DMAC does. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game and performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsAndSpine.com or call 248-426-9944.
It's part beauty, part beast. It's for those who dare to be different, for those who want to stand out, and for those who are built for more. The all-new Ineos Grenadier combines strength and style for an unmatched driving experience. Sold exclusively at Feldman Ineos of Waterford.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
How do you think you won?
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in the clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
If you've got a crisis, let Vin point the way. Step 1, verify with details and photos. Step 2, engage your attorney. Step 3, notify your insurance provider. Get justice with VEN, Vin Johnson Law. And we are back, and we got to talk about some pretty somber things. So before that, Willie B, let's go on ahead and set the mood. All right, we're gonna have to go ahead and satisfy that like button, brother. You ready? And then we got to pick up the spirits just a little bit because we got to talk about one Mr. Malik Beasley. What? Oh, what you got? What you got for this? Oh my gosh! Let's satisfy the like button.
Yeah.
It's time.
Let's all.
Hit the like button. Treat it right.
Tender your fingers, twiddle it a little bit, rub it down, and rub it down all the way until it comes down to liking the like button. Come on with it, and make sure your hands is moisturized once you like the like button.
Make sure your
right
hands are
hand
moisturized.
and get wet with it. Moisture. Either way, lube it up.
Oh, you know what, Willie B? I think you've staked a permanent claim to that.
Yeah. I was a little bit messy in the damn couch, you know.
Make sure you clean that up before we go. Goodness gracious,
Make
bro.
sure you clean that up before we go.
All right. Now on to more serious matters. Goodness gracious. The Detroit Pistons. You know what? Sometimes you can't have it all. You can't just have the season go as historically great as it was. You know, you have this vet. They had 3 prime vets or 2 prime vets that people thought maybe they could flip. Either Tim Hardaway or Malik Beasley at the trade deadline. Instead, they added another vet. Why? Because the Pistons, they pushed Trajan Langdon. He said, no, they have exceeded what we thought was possible. And yes, it has changed the way that we're going to do things. So instead of this team being sellers or making marginal moves, they actually went out there and they made an impact move at the deadline. And Beasley asked, please don't trade me. So you want to talk about things that can compound based on this news? Not only do you not bolster your ability to pick up assets, they could have picked up draft picks in this draft. You want to talk about moves they could have made and their entire offseason could have been better curated. But we will hold reserve. We will hold judgment. Malik Beasley is being investigated by the U.S. District Attorney's Office on allegations of gambling related to NBA games and prop bets. And that's just, if you haven't heard by now, this news broke over the weekend and it sent Pistons Twitter, Pistons social media, Pistons fans, Pistons world, and the NBA world into an absolute frenzy, Final Sam.
Yes, it did. And let me just say this. Malik Beasley had a phenomenal regular season for the Pistons last year. They would not have gotten as far as they did without the contributions of Malik Beasley. He was one of those guys who was exactly what they needed at the time, was exactly what they needed to help maximize Cade Cunningham so that a lot of his potential assists turned into assists because, of course, Malik's ability to shoot the ball, shoot the 3-ball, as a movement shooter, come off screens, catch and shoot really quick. He was pretty much dead eye as that last year. However, with this coming out, and I know that I'm supposed to reserve judgment, I will just say right now that I, Flannel Sam, have had enough of Malik Beasley. He can stay gone for all that I'm concerned, for as far as I'm concerned. And I have a couple of reasons why. Number one, the evidence keeps mounting that Malik Beasley is a knucklehead. He had that jail sentence in 2021 where he was arrested for marijuana possession, concealing stolen property, and for brandishing a firearm.
Bullshit.
He actually served 78 days in jail for that.
Bullshit. You can smoke weed.
Okay,
Nothing
but
wrong with smoking weed.
All right. Did you hear everything else that I said?
You can own a gun. The Second Amendment's legal.
Obviously, there was a reason, though, he served time in jail. So it's going to be the same thing where obviously everything's an excuse, I'm sure. He also cheated on his wife with Larsa Pippen, a woman who's 20 years older than him. And if you want to...
I mean, it's Larson
All
Pippen.
pussy
My
ain't the
God,
same, man.
had a turn.
Then don't
Let's be
fucking
honest.
get married, Malik Beasley. If you want to live that rock star lifestyle where you're banging every woman, don't fucking get married.
All married.
Whoa!
All married got different pussy. What kind of shit is this? Let's be
Okay,
honest.
so you're good with adultery then. You're fine with it, Willie B.
Adultery is natural.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't
it's not.
support adultery.
No.
Not all of them. Not
Willie
all of them.
B,
Not-
you're
Not all of them. Not all of them. Not
Okay,
all of them.
You're
Not-
talking to two happily married men at the desk who wouldn't even think
I'm
about
sorry, I ain't
cheating.
trying to
That's
get-
fair. That's fair. That's fair.
My bad.
And also before the playoff series against the Knicks, who was the one talking all the shit? It was Malik Beasley talking about how Karl Anthony Towns was the least of his worries, and us Pistons fan ate that up. Shit talking that bitch boy Karl Anthony Towns. We all know tough bad boy Malik Beasley's gonna show up.
But no, I do got to push back on
He
something.
shit his pants in the playoffs.
I got to push back on some things,
Okay,
though, because Beasley did not do anything wrong while in Detroit. Who he was as a member of the Detroit Pistons was exactly what you would want out of a Malik Beasley.
Fine.
And when you look into the past, do you know what he was actually locked up for? Stuff that white people don't get locked up for.
Yeah.
Someone pulled up on his home inadvertently. He pulled out the shotgun like, why are you on my property? Since he had the other stuff there and those people called the cops on him, he wound up pleading guilty to this. That's not knucklehead behavior.
No, it's not.
That's just regular. That to me is what I'm told that's American behavior. But for Beasley, for some reason, it doesn't quite apply. And this man has a record and 78 days served in jail because of it. I don't condone at all, based on my beliefs and my religion, based on my belief in the Bible, based on my belief in Jesus Christ and God. I do not condone or believe in adultery at all. I don't condone that. I do know that there are people that we revere and that we uplift that have committed adultery. But for some reason, we might not apply it the same way that we would to a Malik Beasley. I am still conflicted on this because he is responsible for his acts and his actions. He is responsible for the fact that even though it didn't happen with the Pistons, he knew it happened with the Bucks. We're reserving right because obviously his attorney put out there, these are allegations. He has not been charged with anything formally, but based on what some of the components of this looks like, it looks like this man was definitely betting in those games with the Bucks in that season. With that, and you know that's in your you know that coming here, that's where I start to question who he is as it relates to how much do you care about this organization and this team? How much do you care about what you can contribute to the squad? Or has this always been about what you thought you could get out of Detroit? Now all of a sudden you come here, you have this prolific season. Now all of a sudden you come here and you're about to get this contract. And just, I don't know what makes this thing go the way that it does. I don't know. But on the eve of free agency opening up, now all of a sudden, before the Pistons even can make that mistake, all of a sudden there's news of an investigation going on. So it's like, do I believe that there are certain elements of who Malik Beasley is that I'm like, you know what? It might not be the best for this squad. Probably. I'm not sitting here caping for his character or anything of that nature because I don't know him personally. But I do believe that there's a notion if we're going to bring up who a person is to be a little bit more fair and balanced to what the actual situation is.
Can I be very clear about something?
Definitely.
When he came to Detroit, I was obviously happy. And obviously this was before the talking shit and then shitting your pants in the playoffs, but talking about the Larsa Pippen thing, talking about the jail time, that wasn't something that I used as like, oh, we can't have this guy here. My thing, and
it wasn't that. I was just pushing back because you say he must have done something because he served jail time. And for me, the reason why that stung is because I have people who serve. My car gets stripped down. We have a lot of people in our communities who this is a regular occurrence. And we try to tell the outside world this is real. And what are we told? Well, you must have did something. No, sometimes we didn't. Cool. And that was what I was pushing back on, just to be more specific about it.
I'm talking about on top of all of that, he has this investigation. And as we all know, this isn't happening to just every run-of-the-mill NBA player. It's just, I'm not saying that he did it. I'm not saying that it could be something that's proven to be a nothing burger down the road. But at the same time, it's just, unfortunately, whether it's his fault all the time or not, there's always something with him. And that's really my issue at this
Yeah,
point.
and that to me is where I'm at as well. Like, in terms of, is there noise that just surrounds him? Yes. And that to me, for a team that's looking to go from where they were to the next place, sometimes your talent does not top that. And that's where I am in complete lockstep with you, complete kumbaya with you. I believe that in terms of the term knucklehead, I do believe that label can be applied to him appropriately. And that to me is why I don't believe it is necessarily a smart thing to move forward with a guy who this type of noise can pop up at any time. And because that's why I wanted to make sure I went back and said, look, there are two different things here. Do I believe that it is safe? Like, am I where I was last week with Malik Beasley? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Last week, I was like, I think he's the guy you got to bring back. Look how prolific he was. Look how historic he was. You move up another week, and you're telling me that there are things from your past, not even that you're doing here. So I give you credit for who you've been here in Detroit. But right now, who you were in the past, this is affecting us today. And we have a young, impressionable team, and we're at a crossroads right now as it relates to how this team appropriately moves forward to bolster this being a top 4 team in the East and not losing ground. We see how quickly a team can make the playoffs, and then within a year or two, they're on the all dysfunction list. We're looking at teams like the Orlando Magic. We're looking at the Atlanta Hawks. We're looking at Philly. We're looking at these teams who sometimes they're put in a position like this and have to scramble, and it's not done right. And so to know that the Pistons are in that position because of Malik Beasley noise, whether it was done here or not, that to me is where I'm 100% in lockstep. Like, you don't want that noise around here. You don't want that air associated around here.
Yeah, and can I and just for the record, there's also some basketball things that bothered me with Malik Beasley, and of course it has pretty much everything to do with what he did in the playoffs. To be fair, I gotta shout that out as well, because I would never try to discount what he did in the regular season. Absolutely phenomenal. Could have won 6th Man of the Year. However, do you have the 2024-25 Malik Beasley, that little graphic that I sent to really highlight some things? And I feel like I have mentioned this before. In the regular season, he averaged 16 a game on 43% from the floor, 41.6% from 3, which you could round up to 42. In the playoffs, 14 points per game on an abysmal 37% from the floor and 34% from 3. And honestly, I understand if you say that he would have been valuable for the regular season, irregardless of the playoffs, but you know this is a personal vendetta with me. I had to watch the Indiana Pacers. I'm even taking Pascal Siakam out of it. I had to watch Miles Turner lead them in scoring in 2 playoff games. Andrew Nembhard lead them in scoring in 3 playoff games. Benedict Mathurin lead them in scoring in 3 playoff games. Obi Toppin did it once. TJ McConnell put up per 36 numbers in the playoffs of 20 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists on 2 steals per game. And I saw Aaron Nesmith shoot 49% from behind the arc. Malik Beasley in the playoffs for the Pistons did not have an impact as close to about 6 or 7 Pacer role players that I just mentioned. And that doesn't mean throw away everything he did in the regular season. It's just he may have been what the Pistons needed this year, and maybe not beyond that, even if this gambling stuff didn't come up. There's basketball reasons, too, why I had gotten really, really irritated with Malik Beasley.
The only thing that irritated me about him basketball-wise was just realistically his playoff performance.
Sure.
There's nothing else as it relates to who he is as a basketball player in a regular season that tells me he shouldn't be on this team. And that's where, if who he is in terms of his past being also, he's not a good playoff performer, then I don't know how much you can trust giving him a boatload of money. But at the $14.1 million that it was rumored to be, that Shams reported the Pistons were going to give him, basically, that to me was a good deal for a player like that. You're talking about Malik Monk getting 19 to 20 million a year. 14 million for Malik Beasley still allowed the Pistons to go out there and do a lot of things. This is what messes up here. When you got those players that you know you can lock back in and are talented, if they're not signing Malik Beasley, they can no longer operate as a team over the cap and bring in other people with their available cap space and then go over the cap to re-sign guys like Schroeder and Beasley. Not having Beasley now means that they can't do that. They can definitely reuse his available cap hold if they're not going to re-sign him, but they're going to lose effectively the exception that they could have used with Malik Beasley. So this does twist a little bit of what the Pistons were going to be able to do. I'm appreciative of the fact that they do have a guy like Mike Blackistone in the front office who understands how to navigate the cap and all that, but this does put a little bit of a wrench even some depths that I don't know if people quite know about with the Detroit Pistons offseason look ahead. And yeah, for me personally, I said it's not worth it to know, like, okay, in the playoffs he's going to not be the weapon, because it's not terrible. It's not terrible. If Asar Thompson had these 3-point shooting numbers, or even Cade, we'd be like, great. But it's also because of everything else they do. Yeah. So if Malik is not as elite as he was in the regular season, is he still able to have that type of impact in the playoffs if the numbers go down to respectable? And it's like it just doesn't.
And the 34% from three, that's the reason I bring that up, and you alluded to it, was because that's what he did for this team. And that's what he was so elite at during the season. And those 34% from three, that was on 10 attempts per game. That is the dictionary definition of shooting your teams out of games. 34% on 10 attempts for somebody who really doesn't contribute that much beside that. That's really what irked me, especially when I've seen countless role players, particularly, I always mention with the Indiana Pacers, just rise above themselves. If Malik Beasley would have done even 90% of what he would have did in the regular season, I think the Pistons might have advanced.
I think, I 100% believe that. And I know this. There are so many different ways to look at it, because then you ask yourself, who are they if they do have an Isaiah Stewart there? I know people don't necessarily look at that as a one-to-one correlation, but I do believe when your team has more of your dogs and more of your strength, then it allows you to play to more of your strengths. When you don't, then you're going to overextend players. And I do believe that Beasley was not just tired, but also overextended. But if he's not putting in the work during the season, because we talked about this with Cade too, dead legs, sure. But Cade would be the first to tell you, but now I know what it takes, right? So before, Cade didn't understand what it took to get through a regular season appropriately. After he got a couple seasons under his belt, he says, I now know how I have to work. With the playoffs, he now knows what he has to do to work. When Michael Jordan back in the day was what he wasn't every year, and he would go and work on it. Is Malik Beasley the type of guy who goes and works during the offseason and comes back stronger, comes back better, comes back with some new discernible skill? Or is it, we know he's going to light it up in the regular season, and Malik Beasley, everybody? And that to me is where, because Big Con says we're crazy if we don't keep Beasley for the league minimum. I do believe maybe he becomes a little bit cheaper as free agency plays on, even if he winds up getting suspended for some portion of the season if he is found guilty.
Yeah,
do you still go? Do you go and you grab Malik Beasley for something smaller? Because do I trust that in Detroit, at least with the season he showed us, the noise will be to a minimum? That I agree, you need the knucklehead noise to be down, like with J-Mo. We talked about that. Whether we think J-Mo's the criminal that certain people have tried to paint him to be, we all agree the noise and the knucklehead behavior has to be turned down. And I do believe, like, if you believe that to be the case, do you grab him or do you pick him up on a cheaper deal?
Maybe if the investigation reveals that it's not something too bad and the suspension is only for a portion of a season, then I'm not necessarily opposed to that. But here's the thing. One of the reasons why I'm bringing this all up too is we don't really know the scope of this. It could be closer to a nothing burger than a something burger, but it could also be Jonte Porter for all we know. They're being vague about this for now.
It's crazy that the Pistons, like, this organization is attached to this multiple times now. You know, obviously with the J-Mo stuff, he was trying to do the right thing, but what was the stipulation? If my man was, like, just in his hotel room or at his house, it would have been different, but he's sitting outside waiting for the team bus. So since he's not in a domicile, now all of a sudden he's betting on sports out in a state that it's just like, what in the world? Like, okay, so understand the stipulations and get better and move forward. The gun thing underneath the seat, it's like, this is knucklehead noise. That's not necessarily to me like this guy is a criminal and a bad person. So it's like, if they show able to turn down as they continue to mature and grow, Beasley is where it's like, this guy is not he's not a dude going from like, I'm learning to be an adult to now I'm an adult. Like, Dan Campbell was very, very adamant about who J-Mo was as a human being and as a person. And he was very adamant about the growth that he was showing and he was open and honest about he's showing growth through his immaturity, and he's becoming more mature. Remember this year they said, we know he's ready. And we saw him go out there and he was a different player than we had ever seen him be. But with Malik Beasley, you're talking about a guy on the other end of the spectrum who's already supposed to be a vet. This is supposed to be one of our vets. This is supposed to be one of your examples. This is supposed to be one of the guys that push and drives. This is supposed to be one of the guys that does come back the next year stronger. Eldon Campbell, when he got to Detroit, 04 Pistons, shout out to Uncle Eldon. That dude was a club, bro. He was strong. He was still doing work. And Rasheed said, that's why we F with him. That's why it don't matter if he can still run the way he used to. We know we could put him on Shaq. And them 5 fouls, them 6 fouls, none of them are going to be and ones. That was what was crazy to me about it. And so is Malik Beasley being that, or is he just being what he know he can be? That, to me, is what makes me a little bit more concerned. I'm glad you look at the basketball because it does. It gets you thinking, what builds up a basketball player, and are they putting in that level of work? And do you want that as you're talking about restoring? Grit, determination, hard work. Is that, if he's going to commit to that 100%, if you can get him on a low?
Well, and this is where I know Big Con 51 is like crashing out over any slight criticism of Malik Beasley, which I think is wild to be. The amount of Beasley hate now is wild. Sam, all caps. If he is proven innocent on this gambling charge, you need to wear a Beasley jersey for life for bringing up the past. First of all, F no, I'm not doing that. Second of all, what is it with this guy? Is Malik Beasley and what he could bring to the team, knowing what he did in the playoffs, worth all of this noise, worth the possibility of signing him and it blowing up in your face? And I understand if you want to say like league minimum, that's nothing. I get it, but why is Malik Beasley the hill to die on? And I understand regular season phenomenal. I glazed him as much as anybody in this room, but it's not the first time he's had some discretions. I'll just say that. Not the first time where, and to me, and I know this is, if you think I'm playing moral police, honestly, the thing that probably bothers me more than anything was being the only Piston really talking a bunch of ish and then ishing your pants in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I was sitting right there with my phone, and he was like, kitty cat, I ain't afraid of no little kitty cat, and blah, 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 blah. And I expected Beasley's about to have a run. And in reality, we had more Tim Hardaway games in that series than we had the Malik Beasley games.
Dennis Schroeder games.
We had more Dennis Schroeder games. And that, to me, that does matter. The confliction is, what do you get during the regular season, during the dog days? And this is where it's on the Pistons now. Obviously, on Trajan Langdon was always going to be to find more shooters. Losing Beasley is huge because I know there's a lot of people, I see Weezy D313 in the chat, who continues to insinuate effectively who the F is Malik Beasley. He's just somebody in this team's way. I'm supposed to run from being a hypocrite? And it's just like, who is Malik Beasley? He just did something historic for your team.
He did.
Like, we can't just gloss over, like, if you don't have that in the regular season, you're going to definitely get the 4th seed. You don't get that guarantee. So if it's not about being hung up on Beasley, it's about what exactly is it that you know is going to give you that this offseason with the cap hurdles that the Pistons have in front of them right now, to also make sure that you do not strangle your cap situation in a year next year where Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren decisions have to be made. We just saw Jabari Smith step into the $20 to $25 million a year range. Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren got to be paid. So what are you doing this year? You see what I'm saying? You get somebody over 3-4 years. Is that messing up what you're able to do to bring back Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson, and then Isaiah Stewart? That, to me, and Marcus Sasser, they got to make a decision on him next summer. They got 3 young players they literally got to make a decision on. Then the summer after that, they got Asar Thompson and Isaiah Stewart. Tobias Harris is gone. So that's where, for me, I'm like, thank you. I don't know if it's as easy as hung up on. I think where I get hung up on is what exactly is the path forward that keeps this team out of the cute seasons and cute team pinch your cheek range and puts them into we are serious top 4 contenders. And I do believe Malik Beasley's regular season talent gets them there closer than if he's not on this team.
Yeah, and that's what's so difficult about this. I mean, if I'm looking just throughout free agency, because you gotta explore that, obviously. I know that the big name right now, and shout out Anson, he did a reel on that on the Woodward Sports Socials that banged, even if a lot of people disagree with him. I know Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a name that keeps getting brought up, and just with a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he obviously didn't have the regular season impact for the Timberwolves that Malik did for the Pistons last year, but he's a damn good player. He shot 43% on catch and shoot threes on 4 attempts per game. So it gives you some of the movement shooting. I think he's a better rebounder, a better passer, a better defender, probably a better ball handler. So there's options out there. I mean, there's Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I don't know how excited people are about Duncan Robinson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Luke Kennard, Gary Trent Jr. I'm not saying that all of them are going to come in there and just be Malik Beasley.
You want to run it back with Luke Kennard?
Is a good pick.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying have it be one of your moves. I mean, I'm not saying Luke Kennard's even my first choice. He's just a free agent that's pretty dead-eye from 3. Not my first choice, by the way, but he's not trash.
It's just when you look at the 3-point totals, though, is where it's like, he's not necessarily shooting the volumes that a Malik Beasley is going to go out there and shoot and cash in on. And that, to me, is where it's like Trajan's going to have to go out and find a couple of these players. The problem is these types of players are trying to step into contract raises. That's the thing. Can you go out there and find you 2 Nals? Can you go out there and find your 2 Luke Kennards? Can you go out there and get a couple of these guys? Because these players are still trying to get paid.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. So the Pistons don't find themselves in it's a reason why you put a couple shooters and one as good around the Malik Beasley. They made minor tweaks. Not many people was like, yay, Tobias Harris. Yay, Tim Hardaway Jr. Yeah, people were intrigued by Malik Beasley at $6 million. And so that's why I'm like, you look at these little things that people thought were insignificant, but the problem is this. Only the Pistons were one of the handful of teams that had shooting like that from a specialist. And you saw how much it did impact things and change things for guys like Cade and even a Jaden Ivey before he went out. His assists per game in this facilitation looked like it took a little bit of a leap. That, to me, is where I'm just like, all right, if Trajan can go out there and find a couple more shooters, which I am all for if he can do that, and you're not also, like he said, he's not looking for deals that are going to hamstring what they're going to do ahead. Because I keep believing, and I've been saying this and been consistent with this, that is next offseason that he's looking to play in when Tobias Harris' contract comes off the books.
Yeah, and that might be the way to go. And yeah, for the record, I'm not saying just Malik Beasley out, put Luke Kennard in, and run it back. I mean, I know Santi Aldama's a name out there. I mean, hell, they could still even take a big swing. Devin Booker, he was at the
would actually, that would move the needle for me.
Sure.
That would more than move the needle for me.
And what would?
Both of them, though.
And like right, both of. I want to be very clear. Both, or if you wanted to take like a big swing. I mean, Devin Booker, he was at throwing out the first pitch. I don't know if they're going to do that, but I'm looking at somebody. 100% they would, and that's fair. I'm looking at somebody, and Willie, I know you talked about him before the show. I'd actually kind of forgotten about him because of how little money he actually made last year.
Yep.
Would Gary Trent Jr. take a 1-year $6 million with the Detroit Pistons?
Absolutely.
For some reason, he took like a 1-year $2 million with the Bucks last year. I feel like he could probably get more than 1 year at $6 million, but Gary Trent Jr. And Willie, I'll have you speak on him in a second. Last year, just for some context, shot 41% on catch and shoot threes on 4.4 attempts per game. Not quite the volume of Malik, but a fairly high volume. And for his career, if you want to just me to highlight something that really makes me happy, a career 42% playoff three-point shooter on 6.7 attempts per game. I'm not saying Gary Trent Jr. is perfect. I'm not saying that he's going to come in and be sixth man of the year. I'm just, if you're looking to replicate Beasley with a movement shooter from the guard position, Gary Trent Jr. is available, and he's taken cheap deals in the past.
Yeah, because when I'm looking here, oh my gosh, these numbers are actually incredible. These other people have the field goal percentage on much lower attempts.
Yes.
This is insane. Okay, do you understand the usage from the 3-point line that Malik Beasley carried?
I know. He was insane.
766 3-point attempts. Listen to that.
I know.
766 3-point attempts. How many makes? 319. I don't even know if Gary Trent and I don't even know if these guys combined for as many as he made. It's going to be close. I think they just went over. That's what I'm saying. So you got to get two of these guys because Malik Beasley was on an absolute heater that was historic. I don't know if people quite understand the load that he was bearing from behind the arc for the Pistons. That's incredible to me. You talk about the attempts of the other two. You're looking at 370 for one. You're looking at 433 for the other. These guys combined for the amount of three-point attempts that Beasley took.
But
that's incredible.
But like, let me ask you this.
And
though.
he hit a higher percentage.
Dude, regular season Malik Beasley, I fawned over last year. But if we're talking about, let's just say Gary Trent Jr. and Nickeil Alexander-Walker,
I'll take both of them.
I think that they're better all-around basketball players than Malik Beasley. Are they ever going to have a regular season marksmanship performance like Malik Beasley did last year? I doubt it, because I think that that's very rare. But I do think they're better basketball players. I think Gary Trent provides you more on defense. He's got greater size. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think, definitely has a more diverse skill set. And again, those are just
less knucklehead noise.
I don't think there's any from either of them, if we're being honest. I wish Gary Trent Jr. didn't choke in that one playoff game that allowed Tyrese Halliburton to have that moment. But I'll get over that. 1 year at 6, Gary Trent Jr., I'm cool with that.
Yeah, because I see people, it's not necessarily about if a player is better than another player.
Yeah.
Because Gary Trent is not going to get the usage necessarily, or even the minutes to probably prove if he's better than Malik Beasley. That's the thing. And when Malik Beasley's in, this is the reason why we call it the attempts, and we call it the fact that he's hitting at a higher clip, is because he's able to, in bench minutes, go out there and do things that some people with starter minutes cannot do. I think we're underestimating just a little bit of what Beasley actually did. Again, with bench minutes, he was doing things that starters could not do. He was going out there, and you take a lot of your best three-point shooters in the league, percentage-wise, and you start to look at their totals, and you realize these dudes had more minutes to have how many? You shot 400 less threes than Beasley? That, to me, is pretty insane. So I don't know, man. It's insane. Look, now, the Pistons have to, if they're going to move forward, this is where these become the next best meals on the menu. Hey, you guys ran out of my favorite topping. Yep. All right, then I'll go and I'll say these things can definitely fill the void. But to see some of the Pistons fans out there that are really believing that, they're going to fix this thing by just bringing in one of these rumored players, I think you got to go out there and actually find a way to get a couple.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me right now, and again, this was never the ideal offseason, but if it starts with, there's a gambling investigation. I don't want to hear anybody clutch their pearls over me saying, like, Malik Beasley can go. Malik Beasley goes, and obviously we don't know about Schroeder or Tim Hardaway Jr., but a couple of your additions are Gary Trent Jr. and Santi Aldama, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, although he'll cost more, and Santi Aldama, even Duncan Robinson and Santi Aldama.
We talked about Mr. Mo Wagner, but you got to worry about but that's, to me,
ACLs
Mo
take a
doesn't
long
even
time.
factor into the two players you have to have. I'm just taking the flyer anyway, and we have 3 players.
Oh my God,
I would
those
absolutely
two
take
and
the flyer
Mo
on Mo.
Yeah.
Bring them home. Hey, go over to U of M Health. They're right in the backyard. They'll make sure that you're taken care of. I think that they got some familiarity with you over there. Yeah. I would absolutely, on just a flyer, let's see what we got here, I would do something like that.
Yeah, and just for more context on Duncan Robinson, because I haven't really brought him up individually. Duncan Robinson's obviously been dead-eye at many points throughout his career. He's had some down seasons, but last year on catch-and-shoot threes, he was 39% on 4 attempts per game, which actually he could probably stand to get that up a little bit, and I think he will. But the thing that I love about Duncan Robinson, and no, it's not that he's a Michigan alum, although I love that too. Duncan Robinson, for his career, 40% on playoff three-point shooting on 5 attempts per game, including the run in 2023 when the Heat made the finals, 44% from behind the arc. And this is a team that moving forward, I'm not saying the regular season is a formality because the Pistons haven't gotten to that point yet, but I need more players who are proven playoff performers. And Duncan Robinson, the Miami Heat, even though Jimmy Butler gets a lion's share of the credit for that, they do not make the finals without Duncan Robinson's heroics. I need somebody who's going to raise their game up come playoff time.
Definitely, and because that's where the crux of where the Pistons are at. They want serious seasons, no more cute seasons.
Yes.
They've done this for far too long to be a squad that just continues to stay in that middle place. That's what the Atlanta Hawks did. That's why we are able to call their demise. Rod and I have called their demise the last 2 or 3 seasons, and it's amazing now that this is the team he has to cover down in Atlanta. Shout out to Rod Beard, formerly Detroit News Rod Beard, now Atlanta Journal-Constitution Rod Beard.
Okay. Hey.
I love him, though.
Hey, I mean, what's great, though, is just a couple of years ago, the state of Atlanta sports is infinitely worse than Detroit sports right now. Who would have thought that just a few years ago?
Yep.
When in 2021, the Braves won the World Series and the Hawks made the Eastern Conference Finals. Who could have foreseen that it was just going to go all downhill from there? So, Rod Beard, happy that you got that opportunity. But,
yeah.
Hey, I know you're rooting for Detroit sports from afar, but I know some of your co-workers are probably having a lot of miserable days. Because, shoot, I would be having more miserable days if I've had a lot of miserable days talking about the Red Wings, for example. You know, it just is what it is.
That was one of the most sobering things for me was when Rob was like, man, I'm happy for you. I was sitting in a suite at the playoff game, right? Yeah. Eric Vincent was there of Clutch Points. Kuka Hill was there of Locked On Pistons. And Forbes, Matt Issa was there from Forbes. And I feel this hand just on my shoulder. I'm like, it's touching me. Like, I turn around, and it's Rod, man. He flew in from Atlanta, and he said, I had to be here for your first playoff game. And it was just like, dog.
What a guy.
And, like, shout out to him, man. And he went around and talked to other people. Sean Murphy from Half Court was there that night, and he talked to all of the young dogs that are trying to find their way in this thing. That's who he is. That's why, we used to do the drum rolls, and he was here at Detroit News, and why we still are grateful that we get to keep that connection with him, man. But I do got to ask you this.
Yeah.
Because you present some good things here, and I'm glad that we're on lockstep as it relates to they need a couple of these players.
Yeah. What's
the combo for you? Because they're even, obviously, there was interest. That doesn't mean they're going to sign up. There's even interest in Karis LeVert. Rumored interest.
The perfect combo. And I'll be honest, the NBA cap and everything that you can do with it is
Trenton Aldama for me.
It's almost incomprehensible to like the average person just how much you can do with it. Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Santi Aldama. That's my, again, if you told me that was their offseason with all that's happening with a Beasley before it, I would have been a little bit underwhelmed. But as it continues to play out, if they're able to add Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Santi Aldama through whatever means, Aldama's not a free agent, Alexander-Walker is, that would be my most perfect of the scenarios we presented just a couple minutes ago.
Oh, my goodness. I'm seeing some other names in here like sell the farm for Jonathan Kuminga.
No.
Get rid of Fontecchio, who?
Yeah, he's on the
trade block, and I saw you, JB Smooth. You was cutting up yesterday, bro.
It's not my fault. You said trade block. I'm like, what trade market? For Fontecchio? Like, what are we getting back in the turn? A new concession stand worker?
Not much. But there are actually, believe it or not, there are teams that I think would value Simone Fontecchio more than we think that they would. If you're a tanking team that just needs a minutes eater, if you're, let's just say, the Boston Celtics that need an 11th or 12th man, Simone Fontecchio has some value. We're not going to get much, but it's not. He's not viewed as like
he's an expiring contract. That might be his best value to another team.
Yeah, so he'll get something. Just it won't move the needle, and I'd be happy to. I'd personally be okay seeing him go.
And does your offseason plan, does that also include them bringing back Dennis Schroeder? Because mine does.
Tough.
I would love to
have his bird rights.
I would, and that's key.
Huge.
Yeah. And shout out Eric Minion. I know his name is different than we're used to it. He brought in a super chat. Shouldn't the Pistons focus on beyond? Shouldn't the Pistons focus beyond Dennis Schroeder right now? I don't know if you mean bringing him or not bringing him in, but I'd be cool with it.
I wonder if, and it's just me speculating, Marcus Sasser is going to play a big role in, I think, what they do for a guy like a Schroeder. I think Schroeder knows he can go out there and get multiple years.
Yeah.
But when Sasser played at the end of the season, and I heard this from some people around the way, been in the meeting room, been around some business people lately, that, you know what, they took that promising stretch a lot more seriously than maybe even fans recognize. Sasser played really, really well down that stretch.
Is Marcus Sasser ceiling Dennis Schroeder maybe?
And that's, you have to ask the question because he can shoot the lights out the ball.
Can.
I don't believe that he's the defender that Schroeder is.
And that's the thing.
But he's a better shooter. So there's going to be give and takes.
And that's the thing. People don't realize, because obviously Dennis Schroeder hit that massive shot in Game 2 of the playoff series. Dennis Schroeder's not a great shooter. He's been a inconsistent shooter throughout his career, and that's putting it nicely. Not terrible. Can obviously hit some big threes, but he's no Malik Beasley or Tim Hardaway Jr. or even like Gary Trent, Duncan Robinson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's more inconsistent than they are.
Man, contract year is a hell of a drug, man.
Yeah,
Talk about the contract year bump for these guys. Like, that was absolutely insane. And, just to kind of talk about what the offseason might look like, I guess it looks more likely that a guy like a Tim Hardaway Jr. returns. Honestly, you can't have, in my opinion, an exodus of all of your vets except for Tobias Harris.
And Tim
that would be crazy to me.
And Tim Hardaway Jr., he's another one that didn't perform quite up to his level in the playoffs, but like Malik Beasley,
he at least had a Hardaway game.
Yeah, we did. And we talk about Malik Beasley being a high volume, efficient movement 3-point shooter. Tim Hardaway Jr. had probably higher volume than even like the Gary Trents of the world did last year. So he's got value on this team, and he's 6'6".
Couple things here before we get to everybody's favorite segment. No trade market for LeBron via ESPN. Numerous teams tell Bobby Marks they wouldn't be willing to give up multiple players for the future Hall of Famer.
Hey, bring. Depends on who you are. LeBron could put some teams over the top.
You bringing Bron in, Bronny here? We can give him what, Tobias and Fontecchio.
Yes. Obviously.
I know the money don't even work, but
I know it doesn't work. That's why I'm saying yes.
You think the Lakers would
accept
that?
And you know what?
No.
I actually like this one here because of what it implies. White613, I volunteer to fight Flannel Sam to become the alpha white on Woodward. And I'm glad that he tips a cap to you being the alpha white on Woodward.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, all right.
Isn't he the only white on Woodward? Isn't that like a default?
I guess I am. On this show, at least. Justin.
Yeah.
Shout out, Justin. But
oh, man.
Yeah.
Shout out. No, this has been a good one.
That was fun.
Shout out. No, this has been a good one. And I didn't even mean to get that riled up earlier on the Beasley stuff. It was that's why I said I want to make sure it's focused more on that. Because even me, at first it was like, man, this dude pointed a gun at somebody, and you look at the details, you're like, this guy's getting one of those types of raps. But that's why I also wanted to make sure we kumbaya and we broke bread appropriately. Because before the show, we agreed, and I still have that agreement that the knucklehead aspect of it, I just don't know how much you want that in your recipe right now. And y'all know me. I like Malik Beasley. I like who he showed himself to be this year. I like how he put Detroit, effectively and started to really, really, really put it on his chest and wear it proudly and really, really hone in on his roots. I liked what he did during the regular season, wanted more of the playoffs, but this is a situation where even me, I'm still going to wait until all the charges before we cast any judgment on him. But even me right now, somebody who was literally just drinking the Kool-Aid last week, is like, it's time to just move on.
Yeah, and I know I didn't articulate this probably as well as I could have. The thing that bothered me the most was the playoff collapse and the talking ish about Cat and then doing nothing to back it up while Cat actually did play well, as I figured he would. All that other stuff, just, I'm obviously very against adultery as well, because I think even though I know some athletes do it so that they have like somebody at home that's like their comfort, you shouldn't get married if you're going to go live the rock star NBA lifestyle.
Hold on, Terrell Lamont. Don't wish this evil on us.
Oh, boy.
Do not.
Boy.
LeBron going to go to the land when he's retiring. No. I've already seen that. I've seen people talking about, he going to go to Cleveland. Get the frick out the Central. You had your fun. Golly, you ended the 04 going to work Pistons.
You want a number
I will
5.
forever hate you for that, even though I know that you're the most skilled basketball player of all time. I will forever hate you for that, bro. Do not come back to the Central.
I don't want it because I think LeBron on the Cavs would be. I think they'd be favorites.
Basically, go coach the Cavs. I mean, like, go there. We don't want that,
dude. Like,
and Ed Catelius, you're right. It is. All this is out of our controls. It's gonna be interesting to see what the Pistons do.
Oh yeah, and here's what I think, and I think this is something we can kumbaya over.
Yeah.
I do think when it's all said and done, that even if it's not what we all wanted as our first choice going in, that we're going to look back at this offseason and say that Trajan Langdon, with circumstances that are tough to navigate, just like he did last year, navigated it pretty well. I've got faith in him.
Man.
Second consecutive offseason, he's put in just a really tough spot where he's going to feel rushed, but he succeeded last year. He'll do it again this year.
Yes, true. We're acting like it's going to be more difficult for him this year than last. Like last year, you had to improve a 14-win team.
14-win team. Like, oh, okay,
replaced
coach.
all the vets. Replaced literally all the vets. I do believe that he has eye for this. And that room around him, I'm going to continue to tip the cap to them. He got some dogs in that front office.
He sure does.
So
Michael Blackstone.
Hey, who do we got to say what up, though, to JB Smooth?
We got Lady James, Loom, and Feldman.
Guys, let's be honest, we like simple stuff, like gimmies on the golf course. We like uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's haircuts for men. Walk in, sign in, before you know it, you're handsome and clean. Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
And Loom.
Yeah, let me make sure my mic's on. Yep, Loom Cannabis. Enjoy refreshing, buzzing favorites like watermelon, cherry, and strawberry. Or you can cool off with 2 new summer flavors, raspberry lemonade and peach. Go ahead, crack a can, catch a buzz, take a sip. Available at any of Loom's 38 locations across Michigan. Use code WSN30 for 30% off your entire order online or in store. Go to www.loom.com today. And then you can also get hooked up with a new car at Feldman Chevrolet. There's 5 different locations in Michigan. Check them out in Lansing, Livonia, New Hudson, Highland, Novi. You can get the 2026 Equinox LT lease for $209 per month, or if you're looking for a truck, the Chevy Silverado 1500 Crew Cab, $149 per month lease.
Hey, Tony, what's up, bro?
Same circus, different clowns.
Yeah, for sure. You want the usual, the big zip?
You know me too well.
Now, throw a little something extra in there for your ma.
Oh,
Hope
man.
she's doing all right.
Ay, guy, sei un santo. You're a saint.
All right, buddy, we'll see you next time, okay?
Grazie.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
All right, Woodward sports fans, whether you're hitting a game or simply just chilling, Jars Cannabis has you covered. It's home to Michigan's largest line of recreational cannabis products. They've got 27 locations across the state, repping Michigan in a big way. 9 of those Jars locations right here in Metro Detroit, so there's always one nearby. They have a second location coming to Grand Rapids, Madison Heights, and Milan, and get ready, new stores are coming your way soon. Go to jarscannabis.com to see where you can get your favorite products today.
Now it's time for the most electrifying segment on the internet. Bum, bum, bum. It's What's Trending with JB. Live on Wake Up Woodward.
That man, JB Smooth. Show out, brother.
Hey, what's going on, chat family? What's up, fellas? Got some videos for you today, and I'm glad I got Willie here as well, too, because, Willie, I need your help, man. I need to know what type of exercise is this?
Okay. Yep. Oh yeah. It's that
Does
bear
he need
claw
the lotion for this?
It's for the pelvis thrust when you over 40 years old or 40. We call it a lazy dog position. So we'll get that going. Make sure our back will be good. So in that case, we give our power thrust in a very low positions. We make sure our knee pads. If we get because carpet do burn.
We might need infomercials by him, just random infomercials that we play coming out of certain breaks, bro.
Oh man,
I'm so serious.
That's why our backs. We get old. We ain't like in our 40s. Y'all ain't hit our 40s. I hit my 40s. We ain't like it used to be. So in that case, we got to keep our lower back position in our power thrust in our A game quality done. So that case, I make sure our A game will be tight. So that case, we get ready for it. We won't have no back problems after this. Quick 2 minutes. That's it.
Hey, and y'all hit that like button for JB Smooth and Willie B. Hey, we're just 18 away from our first goal. Can we get there?
Hey, can we get there? Shout out to Willie B for breaking that down, because like I said, I didn't know what exercise that was, so shout out to you, Willie. Guys, it's summertime, so you know everyone is out and about on the boat, in the water, celebrating. Sometimes you might be out at Cedar Point as well, too, as you'll find out by this rider right here as to why you don't do the dragster at a certain point in time.
Here's a tip.
God damn.
Don't ever ride the dragster
What?
this
The
time
fuck
of
happened to her
night.
face?
Front row, because this will happen to you. Full of fucking bugs all over me.
Ooh, what happened?
Yeah.
Wait.
What is this?
Don't
Here's
ride
a
the
tip.
dragster.
Don't ever ride the
A
dragster
runner gone
this
bad?
time
I
of
mean,
night. Front row, because this will happen to you.
Oh, she said this time at night. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering, like, why? What makes it different from any other time? She's like, it's the time of day.
Yeah,
It's the
like,
time of day, yeah.
that is absolutely wild. I wonder if anybody tried to warn her, or if anyone even knew. You would happen to think like a worker would be like, hey, not there. I don't even know what I would do. Like, she looked like a freaking bumper, bro.
Yeah. Bumper. I don't know what she got. What kind of STD she's having, man? Look at that face like that. I don't want that type of aura around my features. Oh, we talk about something else. My bad.
Yeah, it's like when you're driving down the road, Willie, and you like get a bunch of insects that like smash on your windshield. That's like kind of what we're talking about. But her face was the windshield. Yeah. No. I don't think it had anything to do with what you were just talking about.
Yeah, that's what I saw the face, man. When she got pimples on her face, I thought she got something. You know what I mean?
It's not a flare up, Willie.
I actually think I like him not being able to hear these videos. It's like, interpret what you see, Willie B.
Yeah, I see it. Interpret. I ain't hear him, but I interpret.
And Herb Nash believes the last guy that was doing the exercise, he said that dude was hitting the like button.
No, that makes sense.
Shout out to him satisfying the like button.
That makes a lot more sense. And finally,
False, but yeah.
my last video for you guys right now. Shout out to all the ladies out there who used to be cheerleaders, the moms who used to be cheerleaders right now. But just know, you cheered in high school. You should probably leave that alone.
Oh!
What?
Spinal.
What? Oh,
Spinal.
Oh.
I know it's just
It
grass,
was
but like I feel like it hurts more.
It was full commitment to what am I doing instantly, bro. Like,
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That hurts.
dog, the way the dog runs over. Get you better friends, because the dog's the only one who even helped her.
Yes, indeed.
The
Dogs
dog-
I
are
don't
the
even
best.
see the camera getting closer to her.
Dogs are the best.
Like, you would think, oh, let's run over to our friend. No, I'm just gonna stand from afar and just, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Goodness gracious.
The dog was the only one that checked on her, which is just
Man's
sad.
best friend and woman.
Very true, very true. But that's it for what's trending today, you guys. Let's hop in the mailbag while we got some time.
As always, shout out to JB Smooth. Do a great job with what's trending every single time. That's why it's everybody's favorite. Go ahead and smash that like button for JB Smooth and the work that he does, not just with what's trending, but that's why he's WUW Sports MVP, man. Producer extreme. He does a lot behind the scenes. So let's get in here. Do we have any more friends to say what up, though, to before we get into this mailbag?
Nope, that's it.
Hey, dope. Let me see here. Shad, I see his mailbag question. Let me see here, though. I saw one earlier from,
That wasn't
I believe,
the only
Randall.
thing, Shad.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Randall Smalls, Feldman Mailbag. If the Tigers only had a starter and a reliever, are you good with that? So no help. Wait. So no bats is what he means, right? Just a starting pitcher and a reliever?
Rando, I would love to answer this right now, but I'm thinking of making that a topic maybe tomorrow, because I think this could carry a whole discussion, because you might be onto something. I'll just say that.
You know what? I actually can't wait for that one, man.
Yeah.
And especially with what we see these bats continue to do. Herb Nash, Sam, outside of Greene, who should be everyday players on the Tigers?
We say everyday players.
Riley Greene.
Wait a minute. I know what you're doing.
Uh-oh.
I know what you're doing.
What?
The AJ Hinch carrying a bum roster narrative. Well, Gleyber Torres is an all-star. You guys think that Javi Baez is an all-star, and he might be. I mean, I think Wensiel
But
Perez.
AJ Hinch made that happen.
Yeah, of course. And AJ Hinch had nothing to do with him being the worst everyday player in the sport the last 3 years. But that's fine. That's fine. Absolutely nothing, you fucking idiots.
He needed a new hit.
Can I have that on the name tag, please?
I mean, Dylan Dingler's an everyday player. I mean,
Dingler.
If you want to say that Kerry Carpenter's not because he's more platoon.
I mean, AJ Hinch is the one who told Javi to sit down and go get that hip replaced.
Yeah, that was all.
What'd you say?
I said AJ Hinch is the one who sat Javi down and said, get your hip replaced.
And he wouldn't have done it without Hinch, I'm sure. Give him 99.9% of the credit, being very disrespectful to players in Scott Harris. That's fine.
I see it.
We love AJ Hinch.
I love AJ Hinch too, but you guys are delusional.
What up, though, with Detroit Gunny? Feldman Mailbag. JB, speak on the night of champions.
Oh,
Mr. Ringside himself.
Oh yeah, WWE had Night of Champions out in Saudi Arabia, so it was a 1 p.m. start time, so you got early afternoon wrestling. It was a good show. I know they were having issues the night before with like connection and everything like that, but it seemed to go off pretty smooth for Night of Champions. You're gonna eventually get Cena versus Cody once again, probably at SummerSlam. Hopefully you get that heel turn from Cody. You don't know just yet. It was nice to see Jade win Queen of the Ring, so shout out to her once again. She's got a lot to live up to and to hold up to. The main event with CM Punk and Cena, nostalgia purposes, kind of did his thing, but other than that, the interferences just added way too much for what the match was going on, and it was a little too much for me, but still it was a decent outing, decent match. Raw tonight will be at 6 p.m., so instead of your 8 p.m. standard that you will be watching it, it's a new time for Raw.
Does WWE, do they also participate in like the watch or the playback type apps where they're able to watch along?
Yeah. So I know you sometimes can watch along here and there at certain spots, or
You know what?
there
Yeah,
are
we might set you up
some
with something like that,
content
bro.
creators as well too that do it as well.
We might set you up to that so that the people can watch along with JB, get your analysis in real time. I think that would be really, really dope. There's a couple more here. Jay Hart, you're going to be hearing back from me this week, brother. What does anyone think about the Pistons kicking the can on Grayson Allen, who the Suns have made available? Thoughts? Honestly, yes.
Yes.
When you hear Terry Foster talk about the a-holes that we need,
He's a big-time
Absolutely. I hate him because of the fact that I would love him if he was on our team. He's absolutely that pesky guy, and I believe if with a coach like JB Bickerstaff, I think you get even a little bit more out of him.
Dude,
his
his 3-point percentage for his career is 41.4% on 5 attempts his career.
We got breaking news, you guys.
Oh boy,
what's going on?
Well, I mean, not in Lions, Tigers world or anything like that, but shout out to Amari Sankofa breaking the WNBA is returning to Detroit in 2029. A yet-to-be-named team will get a brand new headquarters, practice facility, and play at LCA. Detroit played a key role in the league's early growth, and we're proud to reignite that legacy.
Justin,
so shout
Travis,
out
if
to,
y'all are on
WNBA.
If y'all are on, go on ahead and start posting those old shot clips, man. This is crazy, man. This is wild. This is good news. We talk about, honestly, a squad that won while they were here. And there were a lot of people who supported them that were sad when they were gone. And we saw the groundswell of support from both the fans, local business community, and people who have been here for a long time, including people like Sheila and her mom. Like that, to me, to see Golf and Kristen, to see a lot of different people step up and say, we want to make this happen. We want to see this happen in Detroit. I don't know quite who this or what the ownership group is in this instance, or if it's that same ownership group who made that push. But if so, this thing is being brought back to Detroit by a lot of good people who care about this city seeing winning sports. So I'm ecstatic about this. I am very, very ecstatic about this. I love the shock when they were here the first time, man. Hey. You know what? I'm gonna clip up our interview with Tweety Bird with Deanna Nolan. I don't think we ever even played it. Just tomorrow, so we can celebrate this a little bit.
Hey, shout out to the Detroit Shock, and Shad, because you super chatted, I will read it. AJ Hinch saved the Tigers franchise. And further, let me be clear about something. I think AJ Hinch is an excellent manager. I would prefer him over probably anybody in the league. Obviously, the Tigers have had some doozies lately. Brad Ausmus on line one. Obviously, I understand what that's like. I just think there's a bit of a... When you're giving too much credit to Hinch, I think you're taking too much away from Scott Harris and the players, because the players still have to play. And I've given a ton of credit for AJ Hinch, the way he had to manage the bullpen, particularly last year during pitching chaos, the way that he like Kerry Carpenter mashes against righties. So when a lefty starter comes up, usually sits Kerry Carpenter in favor of somebody else. But the fact that Kerry Carpenter mashes against righties the way he does is a luxury that A.J. Hinch gets to take advantage of and use in the best ways. So A.J. Hinch, great manager, deserves a ton of the credit. The people talking 99%.
And I love it with you. I love it with you. You're 100% right. These players are executing, and it is always for a manager or coach to put those people in their best position to succeed. And not just that, to support them even.
Yeah.
When you believe they're not reaching the level. And I believe that A.J. Hinch, he does this masterfully. Whether it's putting them in the best spots, X's and O's, or just being a good dude to them. To see more of their interactions as a team, and like manager to coach, it was like, yo, A.J. Hinch is a really, really cool dude.
Sure.
And we all know, like, during the playoffs or during the stretch of games where he coined, hey, who let the Tigers get hot? And that swept, and you saw his team responded to him. It's like, you know what? That's what you want out of your guy. I don't even know what percentage you put, whether it's 1 or whether it's 99. I don't even know if with coaches like him, there's a percentage to put, man. It's just he is A.J. Hinch. Just like with the other three, Dan Campbell and J.B. Bickerstaff. What we know about these coaches is as long as you got those guys, you're going to see growth. You're going to see development. You're going to see wins. You're going to see these teams do things historic. What the Lions did was historic with their going from what they were historically to winning the division for the first time. Yeah. What we see the Tigers doing right now, nobody expected this. And they're the best team in all of baseball. Even the Pistons, historic leap. The only team in NBA history to go from 14 to the playoffs, 14 wins to the playoffs. So I like the fact that we got these coaches that can put the players who execute in the right spot. And the reason why I say I don't even know what percentage to put is because how much percentage do you put on Dan Campbell in that? You think about the dropped pass. Players execute. They make the differences.
And that's the thing. There's nobody in here that would give Dan Campbell, like, for some reason, I just think there's this narrative that the Lions are supremely talented and the Tigers are kind of more ragtag, and I completely disagree. Like,
I was about to say they are, but I'm done.
Do you want me to level with you guys?
Do that, please.
I think the Tigers should probably have 5 or 6 All-Stars. I also think A.J. Hinch should be Manager of the Year. I think Riley Greene should be top 5 in MVP. I think Scott Harris had what's looking back in retrospect, an A offseason, and Skubal should repeat as the Cy Young winner. If you want me to like contextualize it like that in a way to where I think credit should be divvied, that's about what I think. And then you have to obviously give some room for the guys who aren't all-stars but had great contributions. Like if Dingler or Torek or McKinstry or Javi doesn't make it, they're still going to be known as guys who contributed heavily to this team. It's a top-down, maybe besides Chris, I don't know how we feel about him, but from Scott Harris down, maybe even Chris, I'm not going to slander Chris now, a great organization. It's turned into a great organization pretty damn quickly, too, from when it wasn't a great organization. Shout out Scott Harris and F. Alvila.
Dang, shout out to this, man. I just got the email from Pistons PR of the announcement and everything. So,
let's go.
Of the shout out, man. Shout out. I see the new logo as well. So, hey, shout out to them, man. I like this. I like this a lot. I don't know what the team name will be or if the current owner of the team name Detroit Shot will give that up. I think it's even more appropriate. I'm going to move to get him here because he's actually started what he's hoping to become the G League of the WNBA right here in Detroit. And they got other cities and other states involved as well. He's the current holder of the team name Detroit Shot. When the NBA lapsed, he went in and he bought it because he thought that that's a name that should stay right here in Detroit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on the way ahead. And this is dope. This is definitely going to get an article out of me.
Hey,
sheesh, this is dope, man. Anything else in the chat?
I think that's a show.
Hey, that is a show. Whew, we will break this one down. No backwall styling. Still got it pretty lit.
You'll see it. Hey, there's what?
Wait. Get in the camera. There it goes. Hey.
Yeah, there we go.
Shout out, man, to the chat. Shout out to the WUW Crew. Shout out to that dude, Justin, making himself available. I know he's celebrating his pops today, man, and it's nothing better than family, especially when they're supporting you. I know this family does a lot for him, and Justin endeavors to do a lot for the people around him. So shout out to you, brother. Enjoy the time with family, and we can't wait to have you back in the studio. And shout out to Woodward Wings, man. You guys continue to crush it. But
thank you.
Intern Noah's in the building. I know intern Ryan will be here a little bit later. Intern Alina's in. It's awesome to have new faces, new passions, new voices, new hope. In the sound booth, we got Cavassier Chase holding it down. Multiple things going on. What up, brother?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hope you had a good weekend. I just have one question. It's if you watched No Chill with JB Smooth. If the answer is no, then I hate you. And go watch it. So I won't hate you anymore if you watch it. So point blank simple. Go watch No Chill and subscribe.
I love that, man. Hey, you talking about support for your brothers.
I know, man.
Who's
Shout out.
supporting Woodward Sports MVP JB Smooth in the TD booth, and make sure you guys are supporting everything that Chase is doing too, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Soon we're gonna have a channel guide, and people will be able to see all of the side stuff that we got once we get all of the times locked in. This stuff will be on JB's, everybody else's glue when we're Pistons. What up, though?
Yo, stay locked into the Chase Lounge and us together on Fast and Loose. We should have another episode out sometime tomorrow once we record episode 17, I believe, right?
Yeah, episode 17. Shout out Matt Kenseth, my favorite driver. Shout out Chris Buescher. Sneak peek of car of the week, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, you never know, but shout out to episode 17 that'll be out tomorrow. Sorry about Woodward Ringside. I'm having some issues with the site downloading all the episodes, the hours that me and KG put in over the weekend. So sorry about that. I will, however, put out something for our Woodward Ringside just to recap Night of Champions and everything like that, just to keep everyone in the loop. But once again, shout out to everyone staying locked in the ringside. Go check out Chase Lounge. Don't forget about Woodward Wings and Ringside, something else coming out later on today, and No Chill too.
Hey, shout out. And you know what? Willie B. What up, though, brother?
What up, though?
What a show for you.
Hope everybody goes well. Everybody have a great Monday, the start of Monday. Sometimes we gotta have a men's mental health awareness month with a bang, with a good crash out. But hope everybody goes well. Hope everybody gotta stay blessed and enjoy your day. We here to make good content. We're here to make a good show, and we're just trying to, I know Monday's always be intense because of the start of the week. Let's make the most of it and enjoy it.
Hey, let's rock, man. Flannel Sam, Veteran Squad, Veteran Network, and everybody's, I would say, favorite crash out, everyone's favorite stat man. Yeah. But you know what, man? One of my favorite brothers. What up, though?
I was about to say, it's ironic that Men's Mental Health Awareness Month is the day where mine continues to go downhill. I'm kidding.
Come on.
I'm kidding. No, shout out. This was fun. Shout out to the Tigers for continuing to win, and shout out to Trajan Langdon. I know you will navigate this situation to the best of your ability, but I don't envy you right now, good sir.
Not at all. Hey, it's your boy Brandon, aka Detroit Kool-Aid. Hey, it's my shirt. Shout out D-Mac. I will always love this shirt. But we appreciate you guys for always supporting us, and we hope that if you didn't get the opportunity to, you can go ahead and smash that like button. Please support my dogs. Please support these guys. I'm so serious, and I know that when we get the channel guide, it'll be even that much easier for you guys to see and know exactly when and where everything will be. But thank you guys for all the support you throw our way, because this was helping to motivate and to spur all of this. So have a great day. Be blessed. It's been Wake Up Woodward, and tap in with all of the rest of Woodward Sports. Let's have a day, y'all.